Well, the replies from that thing obviously posted about the next day, they just, yeah, they weren't as bad, but they're still bad. Basically, as people agree with me, basically I said I think being empathetic is tough, also had PTSD. To be someone to realise I actually had that. It was a series of events, because I went to a psychiatrist to get assessed, obviously. Also part of the NHS, which is a bit dodgy, but then I got told that I don't have it. I don't have ADHD either, which is false, because every single fucking time I try to hold a conversation, I get sidetracked if there's something distracting me. I'm literally like Homer in The Simpsons. Yeah, I'll just get distracted by anything. There'll be like my double out there, a guy incognito, and then I'll just get distracted by a poodle. Yeah, but somehow that's not even realised as a thing. But anyway, I got this other comment which was very interesting that really reminded me of the last time I went back to eating animal products, and the excuse that I used as well, which my ex-partner obviously used. Not ex-partner at the time, obviously. And this is just a comment I've seen spreading since that time, which is a bit sad because it's not even accurate. And the comment is, this is something you cannot change. The only... My treadmill just fucking moved on its own. I need to fix that because that's going to be annoying. But it says this is something you cannot change. The only thing you could do is not buy it, and then the animal died for nothing. What are you fucking on about? Have you not even heard of supply and demand? You're making a comment on how you can't change anything, and then you're ignoring a part of it where you can change something, which is supply and demand. Like, does this person believe that the AI bubble will burst? According to this logic, no. Apparently all these data centers are going to go to waste because nobody's buying into it. Like, it's already there. They've already got tons of hardware, and now they can't actually do anything, which is a bit fucking stupid. Like, what the hell are you on about? It just seems so dangerous of an idea and logic. Like, what the fuck is going on? I just don't understand it. But yeah, this is the same logic that some people use towards even AI, I think. Literally would be that, like, oh, we've got all this technology here, why aren't you using it? You know, you can't change it, it's inevitable. That was something I heard a few years ago in response to AI. And guess what? People don't want that reality. They don't even like the idea. Only because the price has increased, and for some reason they started to care that art was being stolen, even though we knew it was all along. It's just so fucking dumb. There's so many AI defenders on there. I won't even forgive them, even if they have changed. It's just fucking stupid. You either listen before it's too late, or you wait until it's too late. And I think the latter is the worst part. So you're guilty. And the same can be said with a lot of these arguments here against, obviously, the fact of supply and demand causing the issues. Like, yeah, an animal will die for animal products. Even if you walk past it in the supermarket, that's going to be for nothing. But the point is, your money is what keeps that there. It's what keeps it in the shelves being stocked. So of course it's going to fucking stay there. It's going to be a recurring product. Because people keep buying it. It's the same thing with people who buy terrible products anyway, like Unilever and Nestle, which I have specifically made attempts to avoid in my past few years. I don't always buy into some of them, but sometimes you don't even notice. I got something the other day, or something like that. I think I did anyway. And I looked on the back and it was like Unilever. I was like, oh, yikes, I'm not getting that. I'm having that again. But yeah, it's so problematic. But this is kind of what contributes to it. Supply and demand, and buying into these things thinking, oh, it's a cheap product, it's nice, it's gonna give me something good in the end, even if it's not great, it's just a bit stupid. But it turns out it's one of the most evil things, and you're contributing to it. I'd argue that's one of the worst things you could possibly do, still. Yeah, that's why supply and demand is a problem here. So obviously that, in response to that comment, I've said that I like read up about supply and demand. Because that answers the question. Like, if you're just ignoring it, hoping it'll disappear, then what will it do? Obviously supply and demand, it dictates that if you don't put your money where that is, it will eventually stop. And a lot of people need to do that as well. So that's often the attitude that happens, and with the amount of people who say this shit, it's literally like the Toy Story meme with Buzz Lightyear and those boxes. Literally, it's just crowds and shelves of people fucking saying the same thing, when all those people could have had a major impact if they had just fucking changed. Which shows that they're also like virtue signaling, so they're already fucking lying. It always seems to be the case in this situation for some reason. They're always causing these fucking problems. I just find it so absurd. Like, what are we doing here? Genuinely. It's such a fucking ridiculous concept that people are coming out with this fucking excuse, which, again, it's not even really an excuse, it's just trying to dodge the actual point. It's trying to escape the question by putting something else in its place. It's a red herring, or perhaps even a straw man, I don't know. But they're trying to put something in its place, which becomes problematic, obviously. So, yeah, there's always going to be issues so long as people keep pushing that narrative. I've argued against this for so long now that I just start to think that it is just a dead internet theory. Nobody's providing anything new in response to it, and nothing will change. What do you think is going to happen? Again, people say they don't agree with the cruelty that happens in these places, but you fucking pay for it. Risk or not, there's still inherently cruel things in these industries. Humans, for example, go through hell in these industries, including the fishing, which is what this was commented on. I don't know how this hasn't been mentioned, but they're so corrupt in the fishing industry that they'll be willing to throw someone overboard for exposing the inherent cruelties and corruption of the fishing industry. That's literally what they do. And I think you can read this up, but I saw it in Seaspiracy. Sadly, the creator is a fucking douchebag now, it seems, and an ex-vegan for whatever reason. It's very weird. Again, you have to do your research. You have to understand what goes into these things. And there's going to be no perfect industry out there for sure, and people will use that as an excuse as well. Which is really stupid as well. Because you should be trying to avoid this shit. Instead, people are not trying and then being literal monsters because of it. I see and hear very stupid shit sometimes. Like, I remember watching a Twitch stream before. Yeah, other than the fact that people just eat animal products for no apparent reason other than taste, as if the other problems of it are just non-existent, which they are existent, because they're fucking up planet at the moment. But oftentimes these people, they just consume products that they know are bad. You hear someone having a Ben & Jerry's despite knowing Unilever is pretty much pro-Israel and obviously Palestine stuff, anti-Muslim, pretty much everything wrong with the world. And there'll be other people who do similar things with other products. Like, say it's like the new Hogwarts Legacy, for example. Everyone knows that J.K. Rowling is a complete shithead, but people will still buy it, and also people will use that as an excuse. Like, oh, well, me buying it is not going to make any difference. Once again, the rows of fucking people that say that, you all can have that fucking impact to not buy it, to say that this isn't a product that we support, and yet you go ahead and do it. So you're contributing to the problem. It doesn't make you any better a person, doesn't make you less guilty, makes you fucking fully guilty. A lot of this does. So I just really don't understand. And again, the key point there is just trying. You have to try and avoid these things. There have been moments where I've even succumbed to stuff like to address my mental health and be exercising. I've had to literally get Pokemon games, which themselves are shit in quality, especially on the Switch. But you know, I have a decent time doing it. And in terms of health and the positive outcomes of that, it has done a lot of good for me. So I don't really regret getting those, and they have had a positive outcome from what I can tell, but not towards obviously the games themselves. And that's the only part that you probably won't recover from if you buy into them. I would have rather an alternative like Yo Ho Ho, but I don't know how to get that, let alone safely. Still, just very problematic. And this is the sort of world we're in, and people just make excuses. They'll try and even justify it, and I know a lot of people try to justify that the Pokemon games will get better if you keep like buying them. For some reason, that's literally one of the copes that the Pokemon community has. And then the next game comes out, turns out shit graphics again, even though it's on Switch 2, and it's all gone to shit because they've done it wrong. Remember Pokemon Champions launched to like mixed sort of acclaim or reviews or whatever. And yet, people still bought into it. What do you expect is going to happen? If you're going to buy shit, they're going to keep creating shit. It's just what they do in these industries. I don't know how that's so hard to understand. It's the same way that people buy crappy games, like the FIFA series for example. Same way that people buy into gachas, and that sort of leads on to others creating their own gacha games. It's also an example, which is more of a case in that, because again, everyone's chasing the fucking money. You need to understand how they work to literally avoid them. I don't know what else to add here. I literally explained everything I possibly could, everything wrong with sort of attitude, and as I'm not someone to avoid providing like a response to these things, I will provide a solution. I mean, a response to solution. Obviously, for animal products, you just find a meat-free alternative. Again, it's like the next best thing because you can't really avoid it all, like as in actual scumminess of industries. But the other thing is then buying from local farms, like as in getting fresh fruits and vegetables. Because again, like supermarket brands are not always good, not always nice either because of pesticides. But it's always better getting as little sort of emissions and I'm not sure what it's called, like the ground version of air miles. Like the less amount of transport and water use possible is generally better. So you always should go for that option. That's pretty easy to do, especially now. Got so much information around it, and it's pretty hard to even fuck up. And there's also obviously multivitamins to keep it safe. It's honestly quicker than eating food, which I also find a weird argument because people say it's like a big burden to have multivitamins, yet it takes away one of your extra, or rather a few of your extra meals. What the fuck are you doing? Just get the fucking multivitamins quicker, and then you can eat almost whatever you want after that. It's so stupid. And then obviously with gaming, like one of the best things you could do, and the same with like other niche products, just find a way to get them either cheaper or alternatively, or you just don't care at all. But obviously you've got other options when it comes to gaming, you know, the one about the seas. But yeah. My finger's getting numb from holding this treadmill, but I'll need to go else. It's gone weird. Is it fix itself? No. Yeah, I don't know what to do about that. It does like some sort of knob thing. It's supposed to go in the hole to hold it, but I decided to put it on the outside because it seems more reliable, but it seems to be bending out of place. I just have no idea what to do with it, and this is like a long sort of rod. That's probably what I need, some sort of long metal rod. And that would go through it, actually. That'd actually be better than I think about it. Just depends on the size. What's hacksaw it? Yeah, very annoying, this shit. Also needs a thing on the end. That's actually the point. It just doesn't move. But anyway, that's about it, so let's move on. Well, I'm getting delayed again and again, but annoyingly this one, kind of important. I think I'm just going to upgrade my current PC with, not obviously to, just mitigate the issue that I'm currently having, but rather I'm just going to put some case fans in. I think that's going to be the only upgrade I do. Because one of the reasons is I want better cooling. I think there's a lack of fans in it. Also, it's dark as fuck. I hate this tempered glass panel. It's got like a, say about 30-40% shade on it, which is really dumb. Because that makes it so dark in there, given it's a black case as well. And also the components are pretty much all black as well, so it sucks. But I'm going to get some, I think SR20s they were, 120s by Corsair. And they seem like a decent option, but I'm going to get 2 of the 3 packs. I don't know if there's anything that could go wrong with that. I couldn't tell. It seemed like all separate fans, and the provoked porn, I can't remember the name of the channel now, made a video installing them. So I'm assuming it's fine. And they all looked like they were separated, other than also the daisy chain. But yeah, I'm just going to put them in and see what happens. Bit afraid of it, but it just seems like a simple job of just, wire management a bit, put it through like a hole or something, and put it into the motherboard. And I don't need to move anything as far as I'm aware, other than getting the other case fans. But I don't really see what other things could go wrong there. And even then, the worst case scenario is I just give it to the relevant people, obviously like a repair company, if it really does go wrong. But yeah, I think this will be an interesting experiment, and I do have a spare fan from this, spare fan or 2, if I decide to keep it anyway. And that will go into the next PC. Yeah, I don't think there's really much wrong with like separating them, as far as I'm aware. I did think of including them maybe with the package, to like ensure that the next person who gets this PC is getting all the stuff, and obviously it's got like a bunch of cables and whatever. But I think this could be beneficial for the most part. Definitely think it'll be a process. I will obviously keep up to date on this, and I don't know when I'm going to get it. I'll wait and see what my audio interface stuff is like, and then I'll get something based on that. Also discovered recently that my portable fan is actually pretty suitable for just using it at night time. It actually turns out it's pretty damn good. Surprised by it actually, because I didn't expect much from this. And I know it has a strong sort of blow, for lack of a correct term, but I didn't expect it to be this good. So it surprised me, and I'm kind of shocked. Even the tilt is a reasonable enough tilt, because you can actually go full like 70-80 degrees down, which is rare on a fucking fan. Like seriously, so rare. I don't know why it's like that. It's so dumb to me. They just miss opportunities with that sort of stuff. To future-proof it, to obviously buy it for life, which is obviously that suspicious subreddit I talked about, but actually, it could mean the actual meaning of the word there. If it obviously goes well, and assuming it lasts. But yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Also, how much is the fans? Because they're like, the only reason I'm getting them is because they're cheap. I don't need a full fancy RGB setup, and a lot of the Corsair fans for some reason go for stupid prices. I saw a kit of 3 for going for like 100 quid. Fuck off. I'm not paying that much for RGB fans. And yeah, the reason that RGB as well isn't just performance, it's just the fact that it will work for that. it would be like beneficial for the next customer, or say customer, but whoever buys it. It's just going to be for that. It's not for my own purpose necessarily, although it'd be a nice touch. I don't think of getting like ring fans, but they don't seem to do many of them cheap. And even then, if I got other brands, I don't even know how to set them up. And as far as I know, Corsair is the only one doing accessible sort of case fan options, whereas others aren't really doing that. There's like a whole process involved in it. Either way, I think this shall be interesting. I've also got some extenders. Yes, I've looked at the reviews and it says there may be a short connection issue. So I've got a 4-pin pack for those headers, and I've got the RGB pack extension cable for 3 pins. Yeah, I do my research as best as I can. I'm not always good at it, but I try. Also, this guy's going to take ages to take out. God. Yeah, but the PC stuff is getting interesting. Yeah, I've also made some changes to my PC build. Obviously the one I plan on getting in the future, when obviously this one kicks the case or the bucket. Shouldn't be called a bucket, it should be called something else. Changed it to AIO. I've decided I'm just going to go with a reliable brand that's been tested and true. A Corsair Titan. This is the only one that I think is going to work properly in that build, to be fair. So I think that'll be worth it, although having said that, you know, I don't think about this. Although the front fans are 140, aren't they, in the Meshify 3, yeah, I think they are. It's actually worth it. It's just a back exhaust fan that won't, exactly. But it'll be fine, I think. I think it's going to be quite interesting to see this build when it's complete. Uh-oh, I'm in danger. Heal mode. Yeah, super interesting stuff. There goes my air purifier. About the other thing, changed the motherboard finally. Someone provided me a useful link. I wasn't sure about talking about it, but there's like a German site where it lists all the external USB connections, which is insane. I've got 3 types of motherboards on the list of 4, maybe? 3 or 4, I'll write it down. Got the Asus ROG Strix C890F, Gigabyte C890 Elite, which is what I'm going for, personally because of Q-Flash. The Asus ROG Strix 9870E and the Gigabyte C890D Plus, whatever the plus means. But those are the options, and they've also got options for AIOs in case that won't work out. But yeah, I think getting a good sort of move on. I'm not going to avoid this. Getting somewhere with the build at least. Don't do anything else. Yeah, change the storage, that's it. So yeah, I decided to just play it safe and go with 2TB storage. Because obviously 4TB is very expensive, and whilst it's not better value for money exactly, in this day and age it is, and comparison wise, the 9100 would be best for like an operating system and software sort of stuff. Obviously not for gaming, just software. It's the only thing that it has going for it. But I'll go for a 2TB version of that. Seems better to me than just a 990 Pro 2TB, where it's only like 30 quid cheaper. What's the point? I might as well spend the extra and get the better speeds for what I use it for daily. Even video editing and stuff will be benefited by it, because there'll be a lot of that. And people did say even like the reason the CPU is pretty much there is because of the video editing I mentioned, and it's not necessarily because of the digital audio workstation, which is running as I speak this. Close the door behind you. No. There's so many jokes you can make with that. You just replace door with door. Yeah, kind of works. But yeah, going to take up so much things, and the biggest worry at the moment of the current build is just the amount of RAM. I was tempted to get 64GB at the cheapest possible amount, but part of me is just like, I don't exactly need it, do I? Because yes, whilst for some reason FL Studio is like peaking my memory at about 26 actually gigabytes of RAM off the 32. It's still giving me enough headroom, and this isn't like crippling. I can play the game, I can move around like really easily. Do so many things. I could even browse whilst doing this. I've got multiple open tabs, which is insane. But yeah, it's not really a burden. So again, I'm making the right choice there, I think. Is there anything else to the build? I'd change the case to the ambience probe as well. I get that because why not? I'm splurging for everything else, and it would be nice to have like a sort of lighting setting here to sort of help light up my area, which is the main point of this. It's not really so I can look inside, although the back case fans are for that as well, and AIO. But I do think there's going to be some interesting results from this with the extra lighting, and also a light up a bit under my desk as well, because that happens to be where there's a bit of a window. Strange enough. What the hell? Does this guy come out nowhere? Is he the boss? Yeah, I think he is. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else. I think everything else is about the same. That sort of stuff. But yeah, I think I shall move on. Just got something else about the fucking fans, which really annoys me. God damn it. So, where do I even start with this? I guess the complaint is when PC building, it's really hard to consider the sort of use cases you need for things and whether it works and stuff, and it's really annoying. PC Part Picker really helps narrow everything down, but it doesn't tell you the full story. Did I just rhyme? I can't remember. But my memory's that shit, so I don't know. And the point is, I've been a bit frustrated with what I've seen here, in that with deciding what fans to get, and also I need to edit the post I replied to for that. Well, that's such a comment. Also I need to do that actually. Someone suggested for LibreOffice, the unopening issue, I need to actually do it in a batch folder. Yeah, that kind of works. Though I said that, does opening the same one open the same one or separately? Let me consider that. Where is the thing that my folder is? No, it just keeps it open, so it's a good point to doing that. No, anyway, I wanted to talk about this because I think it's really important, but why the fuck is it so complicated? I don't understand it. It's so weird to me that this is an issue. Like, I don't know why it's so complicated, but there's so many things to consider. And I wondered if you could ever narrow this, because this I didn't know. So yeah, what I figured out. Turns out the fans need a 3-pin connector, which I sort of suspected anyway, to go into a 3-pin connector on the motherboard. And given the short length, I also need an adapter, which makes sense. But the thing that I wasn't sure about was what the difference was between these and whether it matters. It turns out it does matter, and luckily Corsair lists there's a 5V, was it ARGB? I can't remember what they actually called it, 5V ARGB anyway for the motherboard. And this is really important, it turns out, because you can get 4-pin ARGBs. So that's a big deal. That means whatever I choose, it has to be compatible with my motherboard, which I didn't even know. And this is even just pushing aside the fact that the power connector is always going to be 4-pin. So it gets really weird and complicated, it seems. And then I was thinking like, okay, well I've got these extensions, but they won't fit. So what's the solution? And I think the solution, as I figured it out, from what I figured out here, is simply a ARGB split. And also I need a split for the power, I think, if that's even possible. I haven't said that, so that's another thing. But this seems to be the big thing here. Because if you can't like daisy chain it all together, then you can probably do something like a split. 4-pin PWC split, is that what it's called? I can't remember what it's called now. But let's go for it anyway. So on the Corsair thing here, it says 4-pin PWM, that's it. So I need a 4-pin PWM split. If that works, I don't know if it does. Let's look at reviews, so it seems to be fine. Plus it's just like a split, so one, like the case fan for example, the exhaust will go into the same one as obviously the front intakes. So from what I could tell, this is the way it works. So why does this have like a 3-pin? Total length 26 centimeters, that should be enough I think. I'm confused, why does this have a 3-pin? These aren't even the same thing. PWM Y cable 1 to 2 fan split. I'm not going to pick that just in case. Also pick the ones with reviews because that shows it's likely worked. I'm not sure why they come in pieces though, that's always weird. Pin half 1 to 5 way. That actually seems like an option, but it depends on the length of the cables, and the problem with these Corsair fans is there's no description on the cable length, like cable, nothing, just reviews, which isn't helpful. And the reviews don't even mention the fucking length, like what is the length? Let's do a control F for length, nope, nothing there. Fuck it, not going through this and this actually. Just ask Rufus, sadly, because Rufus sucks. There used to be a thing called questions and answers. Let's see, PWM cables. 2 included 600mm, so 60 centimeters. That's actually not bad, given there's already like about 30 on the front, and you go 30 behind the motherboard. Yeah, that seems like it could fit. I guess it is a bit of a palaver though. Having said that, also I need to be careful not to get the old pins and that, having said it. So I need to unplug the other and get rid of it somehow. So all included 60 centimeters of length, okay. So yeah, I could do with a hub basically. A hub might work actually. Which is a fine length. I don't know where I got the info that it was that length. Does sort of scare me a bit. And also you find a lot of fucking AI generated images on this, which is stupid. Why has it got CPU fan 2? That's the point as well. Where does AIO go into then? Because I have an Asus thing here. Asus motherboard aero cooling set. Apparently there. Is that just a dedicated thing? An integrated AIO system enables full control of PWM or DC power pumps, make it perfect for custom or self-contained cooling setups. So, okay, there's a 4-pin there, but maybe that's it. But maybe it's gone onto the top as well. A lot of this also hinges on whether PC Specialist built this well. So that will also be a good test. I can't see anything because it's too dark in there. But luckily there's like 2 though, so 2 4-pins, which is great. And there's only 2 ARGB, but the one at the top and one at the bottom is like, yeah, they're pretty well hidden, it seems, so I'm not sure how far I'd have to go, like if I have to take out the GPU. Hopefully not, I don't really want to do that. There's not really any other RGB in here. But there's also the wait, RGB? Hang on. Oh wait, there's only one addressable RGB, okay, so this does complicate things as well. Again, this is what I mean. It's complicated, and what if I just put this in part picker? Let's see what happens. I don't know what could have happened. Anyway, how do I start new? Builder, start a new, let's just pick around and let's just do my build. RX 58, no, what is it, 5800X, that's it. It's still kind of expensive, that's interesting. Going up poopy is Hydro 100X because I already have that. H100. Mine had a white bit on it. Not actually sure which one it is. It's kind of annoying. Maybe it's the 150. Oh, H100X. There it is. Exact one. And obviously Asus B550. No, it's not coming out. B550. Tough. Don't have Wi-Fi. Don't know why my one doesn't have that. Maybe it's the Pro version. Which is a bit strange. Oh no, it's a Plus. Got the ATX. Why is the M86 more expensive? So already got an error here. Supports the BIOS version, okay. So physical orchestrator, okay, I know that, it's fine, from what I could tell. Let's do the case fans, so see case fans, there we go. RS, oh, they do want 20s on here as well. So I need one of them and one of them. Again, like both on there. Let's part this and then let's part this, see what happens. Some physical constraints, no fan compatibility checking is not currently supported, okay, so that's not helpful, which is also really annoying. But as far as I know, it's fine. I don't think there's going to be an issue from what I can see. Because again, it's just one header, and even then I've just realised I can just put this into the thingy in the controller and make that work. Like, it's weird. So that should work out in the end, hopefully. So that seems to be the thing here. Yeah, a good header would do it, I think, like this. Fan 1, fan 2, fan 3, fan 4 CPU, so maybe it'll work, I don't know, it's not got any ratings though. But also it's just that ARGB one, there's 3 on it, so that's actually fine. Yeah, I think I'll survive the apocalypse. Anyway, let's move on. Well, this is extremely weird. So I'm on a hunt for some new headphones and I'm getting delayed again. I was just gonna try and make music then, as I make this. But this really annoys me because I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm trying to get headphone advice from subreddit because I've actually found them kind of useful in the past. Just trying to find good noise isolation on a pair of headphones. And whilst I've tried to do my research, nothing comes up because it's only Bluetooth. I don't want Bluetooth fucking headphones. They're useless, and when it's not like a fully wide connection, where I'd say like the connection ones like these Cambridge Audio are very unreliable because they don't endure. So they get really annoying. So this obviously writing about this to the Reddit, and it got removed. Because my previous post was removed for no reason, I didn't get any message for it. And then my next one was seemingly removed as well. So it turned out that the message in this I finally got is because the heavies are a very conflicted pair of headphones. I've asked what they mean by that because I don't know what they're talking about. There's no context here, and the message doesn't even say it. I'll try and look again. I've also messaged the moderators to see. But let's see, there was a message saying, Bland in conflict. Nothing. It says rules against affiliate guerrilla marketing. And that's it. And that's the reason. But what is this anyway? Guerrilla marketing, competing messages are everywhere, product placement, advertisements, digital broadcast, affiliate marketing. Guerrilla marketing disrupts these things, and guerrilla marketing is a strategy of surprising but affordable marketing campaigns. Shows a guide on to use strategy effectively. What the fuck is this? I don't get it. But then I had a search and I decided to try and look this up. And what came up actually did kind of shock me, which is now why I'm actually going to remove the review. and essentially I might replace it, because this seems very scummy. When I looked it up, search results I got, I'll list them out as best as I can. If I've got the right search, no, that's not it. It's a guerrilla marketing one. This is the heavies. Yeah. No, it's not. It's an E. Why was I searching E? There it is. Heavies H1H. And what comes up is a series of posts. And I scrolled down and looked towards like the bottom and stuff. So I got normal heavies and then a review from Gaming Nexus, and then a subreddit that was talking about another review from Heavy's own site, which I find weird. It's weird. I think this is sort of probably the guerrilla marketing actually. Which is also weird they single this out, because there are many other places that do this. But anyway, so videos again, sound-wise, HYPERSKY, PC Gamer even reviewed it somehow, which is interesting. Another site here, but this is the problem. And it turns out it's quite a scummy thing to mention. Heavy's H1H headphones for neurodivergent. Not the neurodivergent. Neurodivergent. And it's fucking confusing, because side by side, these are the exact same headphones. Even to the fucking details. Except this one, for some reason, explains how it's suitable for neurodivergent. It's just so fucking bad. And it's just very bad. Why is this even a thing? I hope I'm not quoted in this, but even then, these aren't designed for it, because in my opinion, as I've used them, they've had problems. The first thing is that they stopped fucking staying wired because they kept coming out, the wire kept coming out, it broke the inside, and it's very shoddily made for wired connections, which is not good. And also, I might add a disclaimer on them. Actually, I did do a warning. If I pulled the review, already done it, okay. But yeah, like, these are just so weirdly, like, it's saying it's for neurodivergent, it's the same thing, it's the same site, but it's for some reason targeting neurodivergent people. Surely this has to be against like a terms of service or something, which is real shit. But I could tell you now it's not suitable for neurodivergent. Because one, the noise isolation is pretty meh. I wouldn't say it's the best one. It works in most cases, but it doesn't work everywhere. Like, I could block out my housemates talking whenever he's doing that, which is much better than the sound calls I had. But it doesn't make it better. So it's very weird. And then, weird enough is they've got a testimonial here from Aliyah, whoever that is. A very random person or something. But it's just so strange to me. And then, you know, as I've tried these on and off, I could tell you something that makes them not neurodivergent friendly. Two things. The first one, Hell Blocker. When you have this plugged in and you activate Hell Blocker, as you probably will do, because if you need noise cancelling as a neurodivergent person with sensory issues, as I do, then you need that on. But Hell Blocker had a reputation in my usage of basically upping the audio to about 50% plus, making everything louder around me, not around me actually, just in the audio itself. So I was listening to music, it would go up 50% volume with that on, which is really fucking annoying, because that was just unnecessarily loud, thus creating a sensory issue. So these aren't even for neurodivergent people. It's just really shit. Like, I don't understand how they even fucked that up. And I've used it with Bluetooth, which actually works better. For some reason on the wired version it's bugged as fuck. But the Bluetooth version, as I'm using them now, they're actually much better. But they're still not great, because there's a second issue that makes it really unusable for my use case, which wasn't an issue on the Soundcore headphones, which are 10 times cheaper, at the fucking least. And these actually had noise cancelling and blocked out sound, obviously, but best part is the volume, because the volume I didn't expect would be an issue, because it turns out on the heavies the volume actually is too loud. At the lowest setting on my phone, like 10% or 8%, whatever the fuck it is, it's still too loud, which is a glaring issue. It's more than talking volume. It's a higher decibel. This, frankly, is fucking unacceptable, and I think I would even try to make a claim to return them, because this is just annoying. I don't need to hear things out loudly, and when I'm wearing them at night, it's really frustrating. It's also a bit hard to wear, but that's another problem with it. But these headphones I've just come to really dislike over time, hence pulling a review. It's not just the wide issue with the glaring flaw, it's also just the fact it's not even a great use case for Bluetooth, where it supposedly excels. So again, with marketing like this, it is very scummy. I don't understand how this is even possible, why this is even a thing. You know, it's a bit shameful for like artists and also bands to just promote this. It feels a bit shitty to me. I guess some don't really understand it, but either way, it's just not a good look. It just feels so unnecessary. You've got Trimming, you've got Motorhead, there's so many different bands who supposedly support this. Even Cannibal Corpse, Jesus. You know, the record label, it's a bit weird. But yeah, it's not a good look, as I said. It just really goes to show that some of these products are overpriced, overtuned. Just, these aren't worth the money at all. They're still really expensive. They're like 200, or maybe like 180 quid when I got them. It's on sale, I think. And these pair, 275 quid. What the fuck? This is absolute bullshit. What the fuck is this? Why are these even allowed? For this pair of headphones, again, you could buy like 5, maybe even 7 of the Soundcore pair that I had, and they'll still perform much better than these. Just nuts, even if the audio quality is a bit different. But it shouldn't matter that much. But again, this is so baffling to me, it's so scummy. But I'm not even going to defend these headphones, because they're not worth defending. Like, sure, the subreddit could fucking ban me for even daring to mention them, but the point is, I'm not even a fan of it, so you're doing nothing by banning me for expressing my opinion, let alone others expressing it. And then the subreddit doesn't even have links for why this is a thing, or even what guerrilla marketing is, because I've never really heard of it. And assuming it's this thing where it's saying it's for neurodivergent people, then yeah, it's shit, and saying it's for like metalheads obviously is also a bad thing anyway. Because that's just a gimmick. It's a bit like when they say that RGB is for gamers and stuff, and they say that a desk is for gamers, a chair is for gamers. There's so many different gaming brands, which mean nothing. Like, my new PC doesn't have a single mention, the one I'm planning to build, of gaming. Even the parts I'm trying to look for, like another monitor, doesn't even have gaming in it, I don't think. Oh, actually it does. Oh, that sucks. They can't avoid that, because I think it's pretty much a premium brand anyway. But yeah, again, no mention of gaming, and this is all the problem with the marketing aspect. They become real shit. They just fuck up everything, and it just muddies the waters as well. So you get onto this whole discourse around whether things actually work properly, because of the muddying the waters. And at the end of the day, it only matters whether something works and is reliable. So yeah, you could say it's like the, I don't know, trying to think of another gaming thing actually. Nothing's coming to mind because I'm just back out. I'm too tired for this. I was meant to exercise today as well, but I got sidetracked by so many things. Again, there's so many frustrations here. I just can't wrap my head around unnecessary things. Just absolute bullshit. Everywhere I look, especially with this stuff. And yeah, I hope I can find a pair of studio headphones that will actually work. Because that'd be really great for my tracking and also just everyday use, hopefully. And again, all that I need is good noise isolation. Quality can take a backseat because I don't really care. And I don't really notice it anyway. Like, the Beyerdynamics DT770 are actually really good, but they have shit noise isolation. I don't know how. It looks like it should be good, but it's not. So it sort of fails in that. Even though I don't know how to replace the pads. There should be like a universal sort of like additional padding feature. I don't know if that's a thing. It needs some sort of way to fix that problem in headphones. That'd be the great next Kickstarter, I guess, for like headphones and stuff. A neurodivergent suitable pads that just go around the ear pads of a pair of headphones or something. Some sort of elasticated thing that wraps around towards the like rotor bit of the wire. I don't know what to call it. It's definitely possible, I can tell you that much. I think there is a world where that can happen. But obviously with fit and stuff, it's going to be a different story. There has to be something out there, someone has to figure this out. So my god, you can't live like this. It's just pretty savage. Yeah, anyway, that's about it, so I shall move on. So one of my episodes yesterday, I had a moment. Obviously it's stemming from the last podcast, if anyone was wondering. But how shitty the world is and just what exactly I was thinking at the time. Because one of the things that happens as actually say, what the fuck is going on? I just found out something weird. So, that is actually what's going on there. Issue of what? I'm so confused. Oh, never mind. I think I know what it is. Sorry, it's a weird email I got. A bit confused by its nature, because it just doesn't seem like a thing. Anyway, I wanted to talk about the thing that is on my mind with this. It just seems to just bother me when I see shit. Like, how do I explain this without sounding like an idiot? I think because of one of my episodes I had, I realised one of the big issues with my sort of thing was my fixation on trying to do better for the planet, and that is a thing that I do. And for some reason I went into a stream and saw them look at a fucking video of someone boiling chicken, which is a shit thing and seeming like they're doing it for a joke. But as I've said with other things around this sort of topic, like people who do that for fun, it's a really shitty thing to have killed an animal for, especially because, you know, people say you need meat to survive. And then you've got shit like this. People who react to this as well are complicit. And people who do it, obviously, are complicit. But this is what I mean. But I said this shit is what's causing like climate panic and climate change. And this is shit that obviously these animals are dying for. And in that thinking, I often expect a response. I didn't really stay though, to be fair, but I expect a response on the lines of, oh, well, that's not what it says in the evidence, even though it is. And what it turns out to be in the end, and this is really embarrassing. Hang on. I think I just found out. I need to look up my case. Corsair 4000D. Speaking of ADHD. One of the biggest fucking issues that I seem to see here and there is just to do with the bullshit around this. Like, people find specific evidence to use in these cases to just be against you, which I find extremely just concerning, because why are we doing this? It genuinely doesn't make any sense why a lot of this shit seems to happen. I really do not understand why people do crap like that. Like, why are we doing shit where we just pick the evidence that we want to believe, and instead of looking into it, looking at the validity, looking if there's any responses, which I do personally, instead of doing that, people just don't listen. So as a result, you get this really shitty situation where you're kind of fucked by that stupidity, where there is a real problem in that it causes people to believe a certain thing for this issue. So obviously, in that case, people can believe something about climate change, saying that, oh, their AI usage isn't a big deal, or oh, their whatever it isn't a fucking big deal, even though it is. This is kind of the point I make a lot. You can believe whatever you want to believe. There's a bias. However, the big issue is you're not exactly doing any favours, because this means that you're going to experience problems where you're going to believe something that's not true, and so you're going to spread that misinformation and cause issues for everyone, causing many fucking problems. So there will be that massive concern there. Like, what do I even say? Like, it's just a shocking thing anyway. Like, this shit is why there can end up being so many problems. But misinformation is just one of the biggest problems of this, because people find any excuse to consume animal products, which I think is personally disgusting. Because one of the issues is, as well, that spreads, like, that information spreads and people latch onto it. It's just a cult mentality almost. And yeah, I'm willing to call it a cult because it sort of fucking is. That's the insane part. So I don't exactly understand exactly why people are like this. It just doesn't make sense, and it's also not very fair on anyone, to be honest. A lot of this shit is a real risk and a real danger, and nobody listens as well. Like, when there is a response to that sort of thing, it's not listened to. Like, let's take an ethical claim, for example, because obviously I'm focusing on climate here. One of the bigger issues is when it comes to an ethical claim, obviously it requires an equally moral claim. So when there's something like Peter kills animals, which I've talked about pretty much en masse at this point, there has to be good reasons to believe that, if there is something to be believed anyway. But as it stands, there's not anything to be believed, as far as I'm aware. So you just end up having this big problem where there's no evidence for what's being claimed here, like Peter kills animals, and the evidence that's provided is actually misinformation. A lot of the sources are very suspicious because they don't even have many sources to back this up, let alone anything to do with the claim at hand. Like, they haven't actually properly interviewed anyone or asked for comments. I remember the story in one of those being about how Peter abducted a dog and just put them down, but this seems like an obvious hit and run job from them, from Peter kills animals. To me, that's always going to be suspicious, because why the hell would an ethical organisation like this, again as they propose themselves as, be doing that? And I'm sure that even someone like the FBI has investigated it, because something like that should be concerning and should concern everyone. But obviously, if there's no issues found, then there is no issues found, sadly. So whatever people believe about Peter kills animals is not exactly going to be the correct thing. it's always going to be false, so long as they keep believing in that shit. And yeah, as it turns out, it's all like industry funded as well. So these claims are not even backed by like a lack of a bias. They're literally, there is a bias there because it's funded, and you can even tie it back to animal agriculture and what they do in like lobbying and stuff. They cause all these fucking problems. They make the world a far worse place. That's why we keep seeing these fucking problems. Nobody listens as well. That's what I don't get. These are the direct issues, and people are looking at this thinking, no. They don't do anything. They don't research it. They just believe whatever people tell them. It's like if I say, oh, maybe, you know, how do I even say it? Maybe they believe there's a type of car that even fucking stops climate change, or a type of animal product that is actually better than others and really tasty, and it's just, yeah, it's real shitty. They'll find anything to justify it. And that's what I don't get. It always comes back to this. No matter how many times I see it, I'm just equally confused. It never made sense to me, it never will make sense. Well, I don't know what to add. It feels shit. And even though I'm in a... What's that? Is that outside? No, I think it's my fan. It's a very weird rumbling. But yeah, people really need to get their act together with this and find the most reliable information. So we shouldn't be telling each other, oh, hate pizza. We should be looking into why. And obviously the only reasons that have been justified, as far as I know, is to do with advertisements and how shit they've been. Like the autism causing thing. That's obviously a shitty one, and that I can agree with, 100%. But there have been others, the way they've done activism too, like obviously sex sells, for example. They use that to do activism. And, you know, it works. But I think we're fine to criticise, but we can't criticise a thing that doesn't exist. And we can't even criticise a thing where, again, people are trying to offset things. Much like how they made up some of these like climate things, like climate denial. And they just try to blame it on something else entirely. Like, again, there's so many fucking problems there. Even then, it happens in politics. Like, what else are we looking at here? I'm trying to think. Like, politically, like, what happens in there? Like, I think of something I saw recently, TLD on news or something, maybe something on Zach Polanski and why the Greens are losing memberships and stuff. And I think it's because people are sick and tired of the lack of actual leadership. Because while Zach Polanski has been so active, the rest of the party has been almost silent, as far as I'm aware, and their main pages and stuff are just silent. It's like they don't even acknowledge that people exist. So, there's always going to be that fucking issue. And people will make up anything about them. It's like how the bots make up a story about how Green impeded this or that, or they seem to think that Green is going to be ruled by Islamic law, which is extremely unlikely. But obviously that remains to be seen, and even then they won't win because nobody who are even siding with Greens agree with Islamic law. And literally nobody. And the only people that'll stay are obviously the people who follow Islam, but that's a very biased take. I hate to say it. But it's also really shitty, because that's not how they're concerned for people. And that's obviously where I have my criticisms about Green Party as well, because even their own like, Islamic sector don't even really acknowledge the existence of minorities, which is really disgusting, because as someone in a minority, multiple of them, you know, these are the direct people that will cause these problems for us. You know, they might be pro-environmental, but that's not going to change the fact that social justice is one of the biggest cause factors in a lot of the things we've seen now, including what I've talked about, like Peter kills animals, like the climate denial, people thinking they can be like distanced from causing climate change, even though they can't. So we keep getting to this point again. It's exhausting. Anyway, I'm gonna stop fucking talking, I'm so delayed again. So yeah, I'll share that movie on. I thought this would be interesting to talk about, because as people know, I watch the Pokemon anime every Tuesday/Thursday, but Thursdays tend to be a flexi sort of one because they seem to change it up every now and then. Which I do find personally a bit annoying, because it's just repeating episodes that you're going to watch eventually anyway. And even then, it's like some of the most, not necessarily insignificant ones, they are good ones every now and then when they do this. But also, it just kind of does make sense, but I'm not talking about that. It's just a nitpick I have. So I've hung on, essentially. I want to talk about the new part of the noir, rather, part of the anime that started, which is X and Y. And yeah, it's interesting. I've got to admit, because with X and Y, one of the most fascinating things about this part of the anime is just the amount of animation in it is insane. I don't remember a lot of this. I don't remember a lot of it, actually. I didn't even remember that Serena had flashbacks towards, knowing Ash. But what surprised me most about it was just the animation. Like, all of it is so good. The intro is well done. There's the part where the title screen shows up, where it's got some really cool backgrounds animated, which honestly feels like a wallpaper engine. Jobby. So someone should get on that right now. Or else. But other than that, the actual screen time of the anime is just shown some very interesting aspects. Like, it's so well animated. There's a mix of 3D and 2D, and the 2D is, well, it's just something else entirely. It's literally out of this world. I've never seen animation like it. And I always knew that Pokemon had a reputation for having a better animation, at least past this generation. And that was mainly because Gen 7. I remember Gen 7 quite well. And also I'd only seen bits of Gen 6, I think, because the way I was watching it before, not very favourable. Yo ho ho. But that was actually harder to find than I thought. But even then, I don't remember the animation, and only since becoming more sort of in tune with animation and artwork, I've always started to realise that it's actually really good. I'm actually shocked how good it is. The way that everything's animated is just so well done. And there's even like small details and stuff that you can sort of recognise. I remember something in that surprised me. I can't remember what it was though. There's definitely something in that, in the ones I saw, the first 7-8 episodes, 7-8, I don't know. But yeah, there's something so interesting about these. Especially the battles as well. The battle animations are just fucking insane. Like the Surskit gliding and the what was the name of the bird? I can't remember now. It's not P-Dove, that was Black and White. Starling? Let's just say Starling or something. No, I don't know actually. I can't remember the name now. But the animation very good. Seriously. It's insane, and it's also kind of fun in it already, which is a positive thing, because Black and White was very kind of stuck in that mindset of showing, for some reason, Iris being not necessarily a child, but just very sort of stroppy, as I'll describe her at times. On top of that, not really exploring her character, and Silent just being silent, and Ash just being annoying. Ash was actually probably the most annoying in this series than any other. But yeah, but it does feel like a breath of fresh air now. And also like Bonnie as a character in X and Y, pretty adorable. I can see why I liked her a lot in this anime series. This part, I don't know what you call it actually, series, I guess series actually, that's what they call it. Of course, Clement's quite fun too. Science amazing, especially when it goes wrong. That's always going to be such an interesting gimmick, and I love how they execute this. I forgot if I've mentioned this, but how they do this sort of Brock thing, but with Bonnie instead doing it in like on behalf of her brother. It's so fucking good. That's something that'll never get old, and there are some Serena moments, I think, but I don't remember. For some reason, obviously Ash can be quite goofball at times. But also one of the things I really like about the series as well is they've shown they treat Pokemon like a member of family, which is also really nice, because I know in like previous series they didn't really do that much. I know in like Gen 1 to like Gen 4, I'd like to say, Gen 3 maybe, wasn't really a thing. Pokemon were just there to battle, and that was that. But in this one it's like, yeah, they introduced Pokemon ME, and that was a big thing. It's obviously like bonding with your Pokemon. And I thought it was such a good idea for the games. I know people hated it, but I actually liked it. It's good to interact with Pokemon. And also the training stuff for the EVs was a bit annoying, but still felt more like what Pokemon would be in real life. And I've always liked also this other thing with Pokemon, but the way that it just has its own style of battle has always been one of my favourite parts of the anime. The way you can just come up with moves on the fly. Just insane. I remember in the battle actually, like the attention to detail that spoils. I don't want to spoil it, but I kind of have to. Luckily it's like the first gym, but Ash did sort of have to retry, let's say. And yeah, basically after training, Ash basically taught something to Pikachu, I think, and there's a really interesting attention to detail where, I think with the gust of wind, if I'm not mistaken, Pikachu puts his tail in the fucking ground. What the hell? That's just so fucking cool. He sticks it in the ground to stop him from flying away from Gust, I believe. Which was the Vivian's move, Vivian's. And that's the biggest, like, setback, I guess, the biggest move to be against. But yeah, it's clever like that. And that's the sort of thing I missed from, obviously, like the later series, like the Pokemon Journeys, was it Horizons? I have a feeling it was Journeys, because obviously I went around the place, and yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, Journeys was probably my least favourite part of the entire anime, which is insane. And that's saying something, given that I kind of mixed on Black and White. But, if I'd rank it, is there a tier list? I don't know if I should do it. Pokemon anime series tier list? Do I do it? Is it cringe? Up to Horizons? It's got the different subsections of it, which is interesting. And also it's not in order, which is really annoying because I don't know which is which. Yeah, it's weird. Also, they predicted Z. Yeah. So I guess the original anime, whichever one this is, I can't remember. I guess it'd be cause like I don't know. It's between A and B. The thing I have to say with that is the anime was just kind of picking up its own ideas and trying to figure things out to try and get them to work. So Gen 1 obviously was just laying the groundwork, I believe. Obviously it's its own thing, and that was kind of a struggle for it, I think. And yeah, they had to lay down the groundwork and stuff, obviously like Team Rocket being quite iconic, but they also cursed it. They really fucking cursed that series because they did something that they should never have done. They introduced animal stuff. Basically they eat fish and they eat animals, which is really fucking weird given Pokemon are essentially animals, or at least like pocket monsters, and maybe there is an existence of animals as well, but it's not really shown in the lore as far as I'm aware. That does make me put it down a bit, because obviously it's not very solidified. It's like they looked at the games and thought, oh yeah, this is like real life. but you're just capturing Pokemon as animals and stuff, even though it's not actually what you're doing. At least not that likely. But yeah, I found that a bit weird. So yeah, I'm not sure about it. Then we get on to Gen 2, whichever ones these are. Gen 2 I can't remember too much of either. I don't like how they replaced Brock with Tracy. Bit of a weird choice, I'm not 100% sure what they did. But you know, Ash was pretty much a goofball in this as well, which is great. And Misty just being Misty. It has her ups and downs. That's just Misty as a character though. But I think it was a bit better with everything though. If I'm not mistaken, also the animation was a bit improved at that point, I believe. Seems to have had a jump of some sort. But it's also a bit weird that they stopped with the same characters, especially given that they had other characters in also the game and stuff. The games, whatever it was. But yeah, I really do think it's a bit weird, honestly. So I don't know where to put it. I'll probably put it in C tier, to be honest. Like, I don't remember much from it. It's a bit strange. And also, like, the thing is with Pokemon anime, it's a bit revolutionary, I suppose. It's sort of not been done before. It could be mistaken. So that, certainly put that down to C tier. Trying to think what else. Yeah, I forget I could just look at Ash's outfit to figure out which gen it was. If I can even remember that, that is. No, I think that's all the white hats. Those weird hats with the green on it for some reason. I have this theory about Horizons. Not sure if I should mention this. But I swear the Deco is related to Ash in some way. Or maybe the family bloodline. I don't know. It's a bit weird. But anyway, next generation is Generation 3, and this was actually kind of entertaining. I think it's very good. I also forget to mention the intro music and stuff. The intro music was something else. Because obviously Gen 1 had some decent ones, but I think Gen 3 really knocked out of the park. Maybe fart for some reason. Yeah, and also just the music in general actually in Gen 1, that's the other thing that makes it so good. All the music is just good in the anime. And they stopped using it after a certain point, which sucks. But it's still decent. I wouldn't say it's like awful. So I think it's the job done, which I can say with confidence. So yeah, Gen 3 is probably, in terms of humour and story, from what I can remember, again it's just based on like tuning in the live streams a few times and what I remember from a while ago. But yeah, humour as well. I think it goes up to A tier. I think it was honestly really good, and yeah, Max and May as characters, they're interesting. And people found Max annoying, but I just tend not to listen to those sort of suggestions or complaints because it's just fucking useless. Who cares? Like, who cares if you find a voice actor annoying? They're doing their fucking job here. It's nothing to do with anything. Like, maybe it's a preference, I don't know. I don't really hear bad voice actors unless they're actually not even trying. But I hear them trying with this, so I don't get it. Because it's the same complaint people have about stuff like the I think Yu-Gi-Oh anime and Sonic X. Just shut the fuck up. Just watch it and listen. You shouldn't have to fucking complain about it. Because it's already done. You're not going to change it. And even then, like, people have to voice act Pokemon as well, which is also an insane thing to think about. Ooh, an A-Train. Or Alpha. So yeah, Gen 3 a good A tier, I'd say. Certainly very good, almost peak, I would say. And definitely fun, and also like, you know, the Brock stuff as well, as usual, I forget to mention, but Brock being back in this is great as well, and obviously Max just pulling him away every time. It's just such a good gimmick. Everyone loves Brock, I think. And Team Rocket too, I forget to mention Team Rocket are great for comedic effects. But the amount of the boss stories there is in this series and onwards, just genius. I really miss some of that. That's one of the things that really is missing from later series, because they are just there for villain stuff, but I wish they did more or develop on the character, and that's one of the things that ironically I liked about Sonic Boom. They gave Eggman a proper personality, which is something I can always take from that, which does do positive things. Like, it's actually kind of a wow thing with Sonic Boom, even though it's like one of the worst like cartoon series I've ever seen. Yeah. Anyway, Gen 4. This is interesting. I don't know where to put this. The Gen 4 is very interesting. I think it has its ups and downs again. And they certainly take a dive on the humour stuff, but there are still moments in it which is good. But I notice it more with Brock. Obviously, Brock is still doing its thing. But, replacing someone with Krogan is actually a genius idea. It's honestly one of the best parts of it. But the fact that was one of the best parts is just odd. There are moments which are funny and as hell and interesting, and I definitely did enjoy watching it. But I don't know what they're thinking with, just trying to limit all the humour and try to make it a bit more serious in areas too. Kind of doesn't make any sense to me. And maybe I'm missing something, maybe I missed episodes as well. But to me, it could have been so much more. And they kind of fucked it, essentially. I could say any kinda. So ironically, it's sort of a B tier. And also, it's like when it started the HD era too. And there certainly were interesting moments in it for sure, and really good moments as well. And even then, like the Q stuff as well. I just remembered Bunny and Pikachu. Like, some of those interactions are adorable, and also just fascinating. But yeah, I just find it can be on the bit of the boring side when it comes to that. So I'm not very sure where to put it even. It's sort of above a B, but it's not below an A. It's weird, it's sort of in between. Because I wouldn't say it's the funniest one again, but it was something. And I think it's also a step up in animation again. I noticed again they've changed it a bit. Obviously, when it comes to the contest and stuff, obviously it's a bit better, because I remember when obviously May was doing hers, it's kind of like its own thing, and the battles obviously with Ash and stuff, also kind of interesting. Here it's a lot better, but I think that's like the only thing that's going for it, because it is like a gradual improvement. It seems to be all they're doing with the series. So yeah, I could put that in a low A tier. It's just below Gen 3, also why don't I put Gen 5 there, because it's a stupid position. And the black hat, that's it. Where the hell is the other one? So that's lower, but it's not showing up. Annoying. Bad tier list, bitches. Yeah, so the next one. Gen 5, and yeah, I've already expressed my thoughts on it. I think it's pretty meh. It definitely goes in C tier, I think. I'm going to be honest, it's pretty much a nothing burger. There's still great moments in it. Battles are interesting and stuff, and also characters have their own stuff, which is kind of interesting. But I just don't find it to be anything great, anything of note. I can't really say I remember much from Black and White, having said that. Which is a bit disappointing. It's obviously a lot worse than Gen 2. Whether it's named like Hard Gold or Master Quest or something. I remember. Johto, now it's Johto, Pokemon Johto, I might as well just call it that. Again, just had its moments, so it goes easily in C tier, or bottom. Next is, well, Gen, whatever this is. What Gen are we on? Something I blacked out. Obviously 6. I barely remember 6. As I said, I remember having moments and stuff, and also really great moments, especially from the highlight ones actually. There were some very interesting ones. I remember the Pikachu sort of acting thing. Like, that was genius. They had such throwbacks, such as the roaring Pikachu screen, I think. The logo of Warner Brothers, was it? I can't remember the logo now. The one where the lion roars in the Tom and Jerry shows. But yeah, based on what I remember, it's like a... And also these episodes I've seen anyway. It's probably like a low A tier as well. It's because it's up there, for sure. But I do remember moments from it which were emotional and stuff, and I've also teared up about the Serena's Eevee a few times. And obviously they met. It's kind of like, oh my god, please catch the Eevee, please catch the Eevee. I would not live my life without this Eevee in my life. It's just, I fall for everything to that Eevee. And yeah, it has those moments. Just equally sweet, funny, and everything else in between, I guess. But as usual, it tries to walk in the footsteps of the greatness of like Gen 3 and Gen 4, especially like the Brock stuff, and then it tries to add gimmicks like having again Clement being a bit of a klutz here and there, or at least not being a very good inventor. So yeah, I think it just goes in like a low A tier. I think it pretty much goes without saying. I wouldn't say it's better than like Gen 2 or Gen 1 even. I forget I put Gen 1 there. I'll say because Gen 1 is just cursed. It's cursed as hell. If I put everything in there, no, not yet, still more. Also just going by generation, not by series, but anyway, next one would be the, what's it called? Damn, what is it called again? Gen 7, Sun and Moon? My god, I have a lot to say about it. And I'll just say right off the bat, S tier. It's one of the best series I've ever fucking seen. And it's one that I look forward to most. It had some of the most emotional moments and some of the funniest moments in probably the entirety of Pokemon, and on top of that, the animation not just being good, but being characterized. It's seriously some amazing facial expressions in this anime. Just really add to it, and then the cast of characters as well, which people can see as hit or miss, but I didn't mind. I tried to look past it, and the only one I didn't like, the character, Rotom. Basically, even in the games, I wanted to throw Rotom on the ground and literally commit Pokemurder. But yeah, that's really the only sort of nitpick I have. It's the only thing I'm like, god, this needs to shut up. But yeah, it's seriously one of the best ones. It's got so many moments again. It's also got mystery, it's got entertainment, it's just got so many things going for it. And yes, whilst it might seem like a dumbed down version of like previous generations, even seem more like kid-like, especially with the downgrade to the sort of quality, I guess. I wouldn't call it like animation quality, I'd just call it art quality. It's still great. And even the music was somewhat decent in areas. Well, I keep forgetting to mention music. I think after Gen 4, music started to get a bit sort of stale, and it never really recovered even into Gen 6. Gen 7, at least the Japanese versions I've heard, actually pretty good. I like Future, Real Connection. It's honestly one of the best intros. It's just such a vibe. And it's a real song as well, I think. I could be mistaken. But it's just so fucking good. Even then there's soundtrack and stuff, but there's more to it. There's more to this fucking anime that I just remembered. On top of long stories and mysteries and stuff, they're also not afraid to explore different aspects, like teasing Ash and Lana about being together. But they're also not afraid to show that Professor Kukui and another professor moment, I won't mention who, which is just amazing. And there's just so many things. The only thing I guess would really put a damper on it and trying to think, actually, there was something. I just thought didn't work well. I don't know, I think they're maybe trying a bit too much in some areas, but even then it's fine. Again, even with the kid-like sort of stuff, it's fine, but then there's even more. Team Rocket. My god, did they fucking do Team Rocket well on this? It's just genius. It's one of the best parts of the anime. because even though Team Rocket had sort of gone to a point where it's like they're like stale now, they were so good in this, like literally insanely good, because they had Beware, and Beware, for anyone unaware, is one of the greatest characters in the anime. Character, you might say? Well, surprise, because this Beware is actually a character. Literally has a full-blown character arc and is like God. I'm not even fucking joking. That's why Beware is so good in this. And yeah, I do miss the series, obviously. It's one I could probably watch again. I don't know if I'd never watch things on repeat, unless I've obviously forgotten them, but even though I remember it quite well, I think I'd happily watch Ultra Sun and Moon. No, not Ultra, obviously, just Sun and Moon. But I especially remember the scenes with like the Ultra Beast, where it was very entertaining and very good. And I also wasn't afraid to explore different aspects of it, of the series, where it's kind of like, oh, you're going there? You're actually willing to explore this? And it felt very personal in areas too. I think one of the ones that really got me in that was a really sad episode about Stoutland. Pretty sure people remember that, because obviously it's quite a big thing. Was that a spider? I don't think it is. I think I'm hallucinating. 5 hours sleep, by the way. And I've filled up on cherry coke and Indian. What? No, Pigeons are an easy S tier. It's a journey and it's amazing. Again, one of the best in the anime series. It's just, yeah. What can I even say? Anyway. Finally we get on to Journeys, and my god, I have a controversial take on Journeys. Because it had some episodes, but it also didn't have any. Because it has its moments, but it also didn't have any. Also, someone is smoking. Seriously, what the fuck is that? I thought the government said not to fucking set fires outside. Okay. Well, some idiot is doing that next door. Great. Gives me an idea. Anyway. Something else about Journeys is that they had some really good episodes. I'd argue some of the best. One of my favourite episodes ever is probably... Is it number 26 or 27? There's one that was written by an entirely different writing team. But it's literally to promote a product. And it's one of the fucking wackiest episodes I've ever seen. Like, I think it was I think they were training like a Magikarp, and it was like a Magikarp who broke its back. It's just so wacky, and the noodle part as well is just so weird. It's one of the strangest episodes, and not afraid to explore like the cartoony aspects. It really takes advantage of it. But my second favourite episode in that series was probably the battle between Leon and Ash. Honestly, one of the coolest fucking episodes of his. It's such a throwback. Maybe emotional. But yeah, it's also just amazing. And also, it's one of the episodes that, well, I don't know if I should spoil it, but there's a big progression to Ash. Having said that though, Team Rocket in this wasn't great. They had that gimmick with the Pokemon that fall from the sky, or Pokeballs rather, that machine. Also kept changing HQs, didn't they? And then like part where they cross paths. I can't remember now. There were some like follow-up episodes after the anime where Ash went his separate ways, and then for some reason he went to meet people. They remembered. It's a bit weird and it's a bit confusing as well because the labels aren't episode what? Labeled properly. But yeah, this series though is a big disappointment. It wasn't too funny, it wasn't too real or down to earth, down to whatever Pokemon was on. But it just didn't feel like Pokemon to me. Even though it had the entire like garden stuff and the professors being goofballs and stuff. It just wasn't it. And they really missed opportunities, and it did spawn that Gengar meme, I think, of him waiting on the stairs. But that's about it. It didn't do anything to me, and even with Chloe and stuff, with Eevee, and Evie being really like special, really adorable as well. It still wasn't enough. It didn't do anything for me. I would go even far as to say that it was just like bait or something. Some sort of bait. I don't know what though. But I don't know what they were thinking with it. Because it's just so strange. Like really nothing special, and even when they met other characters, it was just nothing. There was nothing going on at all. Nothing of interest. And it just sucked. So, yeah. Master's Journeys and Journeys. It goes in the D tier. The first thing that ever would go there. I watched every single episode, and I still ended up disappointed. I wonder what the hell they were doing. Especially coming from Gen 7, where they actually did something good. And even then, I don't even remember the animations in this one. I don't recall anything that was worthwhile. And even then, it just didn't follow the story of Sword and Shield, which was also really weird. Because it felt like it should have, but it didn't for some reason. If I recall, it didn't even highlight that many Pokemon. I barely remember it. I also only remember one moment from it where there's a really good fucking joke I really liked. Where Pikachu supposedly Gigantamaxed, but he didn't actually do that, he Feastomaxed. It was a really great moment, but again, I barely remember anything from it. It was just a really bad series. Anyway, that's about it, because I'm not up to date with Pokemon Horizons. I will watch it at some point when I'm ready. It entirely depends on, if I have the time and when I watch it, for that matter. I think it's on Netflix, which is annoying, because I don't want anything to do with Netflix. But I'm just kind of like, yeah, whatever. It's really hit or miss, and I find the anime is just mid at most. It has the makings of something great, but it doesn't always explore that. And admittedly, it's got so much more potential if they just did things a bit better, but I've only gone up to episode 40, I believe. They just found the turtle thingy and started to explore, but they didn't do much else. So I don't know. I know there's stuff with the organisation, but I can't remember. But anyway, yeah, I'd better move on. I've spoken too much again and again. I just realised something fucking crazy. For so long I've been wondering how Demetori achieved the tones in tracks like Border of Life and even Ghostly Eyes. I almost forgot about that one. That's probably my favourite track. And it's such a unique tone because it's not quite distortion, but it is kind of clean in a way. And I asked people about it a long time ago, like, what is this tone? Because I cannot figure it out. And it wasn't something easy to figure out either, because it's obviously a clean and distortion. Like a clean with a distortion pedal, or a distorted amp with a clean pedal. It's so weird. It's so hard to figure out. It's like some order of things that was making it what it is. And skip to today, I'm listening to Munich Productions, who made a lot of covers in the style of ACDC. And whilst I could just easily download the tones if I wanted to from Patreon, I'm not fussed, but I will say, because I have Amplitude already, and I think Amplitude's probably better quality than Guitar Rig 5, I could be mistaken, but it sounds so similar to Demetori, and it only just occurred to me. Like, how the hell is an ACDC tone so similar to Demetori? And I looked it up, and it seems to be to do with having a clean amp with, from what I can tell, a lot of the gain up, and a very specific EQ mix, which explains a lot of the tone, I guess, but maybe there is a bit of distortion in it as well. It's very interesting, because even then Demetori just sort of has a slight distortion to the tone anyway. This maybe isn't as hard as I thought it is to figure out, to get this very specific niche tone. It is very bizarre. But I'm shocked that I only just realised the similarities now. It's very weird. Yeah, I'm quite relieved in a way, because now I can probably try and experiment with that. Because it is literally one of my favourite tones from Dematory. Even though there's some good ones later on. I think from these tracks alone, so many things just feel very, I don't know, like, they give a vibe. And that's what it is. So I definitely need to explore that. But the fact it came from someone basically covering tracks in the style of ACDC is just absolutely insane to me. Just sudden epiphany, but also it's sort of demonstrating the issues of my learning difficulties, yeah, sure. That's how you spell it, with B's instead of F's. Yeah, but again, it's quite interesting. I'm going to experiment with the next cover I do, because my current one isn't really suited for that. Also, which one was I planning to do? Oh yeah, this one. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be extremely fun. So, yeah. I think there's going to be some fun to be had there, but maybe not the next one, I don't know. Maybe there is actually, I don't know, because like this next cover I'm planning on, just for some context, it's a Japanese one, it's a Vocaloid, I think, but it's also very, how do you say, catchy. I'm a bit worried about it. They might even catch me. There's such a build up for like a metal cover, which is kind of crazy. It feels like it could be a great one. I'm so interested in trying it when I get around to it. Also, at the moment I'm covering a very interesting track. So yeah, that's just something I wanted to mention. Crazy how I just realised what the tone is. And yeah, it's right there. I'm not a big ACDC fan, but I do like the covers in the start. It's very interesting. Anyway, I shall move on. So, I was talking about the heavies. Turns out that I got a response. It took a while for some reason, I don't know exactly what happened there. But got a link sent, and it's interesting. I haven't read it all, I've just read the first parts, but it does look like there's a big clusterfuck with this. Stuff you wouldn't really expect, because, someone like Josh Middleton was promoting this at some point, which hopefully he has addressed, because this is concerning. And also, he's not even a headphones guy, so what? I'm so confused. It's so weird. Because I know he uses speakers to track things, at least from what I remember of his videos on making metal music and metal production. But for some reason, it never really occurred to me that him promoting headphones was already a suspicious thing. It doesn't mean he's like less of a metal musician now, but admittedly this does put a dampener on just the way that obviously see his metal creation, because this is a big deal. Like, if you are paid to promote this shit, I could be wrong, it might not be him promoting, it could be social media, or his social media rather, but it's still pretty concerning. So I want to read through this and also talk about what we're seeing here. I'm going to put my finger on our camera. It doesn't distract me. Here we go. So, it says, part 1, Heavy's VR/headphones recap. Received alerts or post sources called them Heavy Headphones, a dishonest company trying to scam you into buying their stuff. Received alerts of all posts about problems with Heavies being reported. Kind of weird, but whatever. Then they received fake legal threats in the mob mail to remove posts that people have had trouble with Heavies, but they tell them to kick rocks. Actually, I'm very curious. Hang on, I'll sidetrack a bit. I want to go and see if there's anything on my video, because there might be, I don't know. The thing is, I removed my contact email because it was being used for spammers, and then I changed my email, so yeah, it's a bit weird. I'm not exactly sure what to think about that or feel or think. But it is a very weird situation, I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't bode well, to be honest. I think, you know, it is a thing for sure. Hang on, let me just try and find the video. Here he is. Let's do both, although I'm kind of viewing on YouTube, not details. As in the warning there. Yeah, so let's do the normal one. Idiot reviews, and I did private it. Comments, let's see. There doesn't seem to be anything. So I can see comments are turned off. Alright, then let's see. The comments on the Beware video, nothing. So yeah, they haven't interacted, so I'm surprised that there is this response, like fake legal threats. I'm a bit weirded out by that. This doesn't obviously bode well. Anyway. Then there's more mod mails asking / demanding proof, post being removed, and then they got proof. Oh, I can't view it for some reason. That's weird. Then they ask question, but they never respond. Then October 23rd, frustrated us to keep on the post, they are asking to be removed, explain the situation to you, or the link post. What's this? A transport? What the hell? It's just a lot of such adverts. If he's already sending one mail for the boundaries to be removed, subreddit and reporting all posts, told them 3 to 4 times that we don't remove what people say about gear. We're community first, so here we are, and this is just one review. They wanted to get it removed. No, it's for additional visibility. And this, they made a message for somebody with a fake name, Direct Ostrich, unless that's the mod. Dear moderators, I'm writing respectfully to request the immediate removal of the following archive posts from your subreddit. And they link the post, honest review. The post was uploaded 2 years ago by the DDU account, and now is archived. Meaning new comments or votes can no longer be made. However, it still appears publicly in search results and continues to affect the reputation of the mentioned product, brand, unfairly. Since the uploader's account no longer exists and the post serves no current discussion purpose with the community, we currently ask for its removal under Reddit's moderation discretion for outdated, orphaned, or reputation-harming content. We appreciate your understanding and the prompt assistance in maintaining subreddit's integrity and removing inactive archive content for deleted users. Sincerely, Clash if can, legal, law, and firm. Okay. Several things are wrong with this, obviously. So, asking to remove an archive post from years ago doesn't make any sense. What are you fucking doing? What are you on about? Like, seriously, there are many deleted accounts on Reddit. In fact, some I see deleted every day. I see one at least deleted every day. So it doesn't mean anything. And the only reason that these accounts get deleted is because people are ban evading, because some of these Reddits, anyway, have a really fucking outdated system where you can't repeal a ban and you're just perma-banned for doing one wrong thing, even if it's the slightest slip-up. So, again, you're basing this off of nothing, and you don't understand Reddit, so that's obvious from this. And then they're saying that obviously, publicly, obviously I'm making my opinion here, so is it clear? But it's saying it appears in the public search results. Of course it fucking does. I get so much shit in my own search results, and I'm not surprised that it comes up. It's like the most commonly clicked on things, and it's nothing to do with Reddit. It just happens to be the one that gets the most traffic. So no, that's not going to change even with the removal. In fact, the removal is probably going to still show up, even though it is removed. I've actually come across posts like that before. Anyway, next thing is the Reddit's moderation discretion. Outdated, orphaned, or reputation-harming content. They don't have that, I don't think. So what are they even talking about? It just doesn't make any fucking sense. So yeah, that's dumb. And I'm curious, like, what's Kashif Khan legal law and that? Let's see if this is real. Okay, apparently it's something. Got Kashif Khan, a law society. I'm just solicitor in 2018. Okay, so maybe it's like a potential, like, identity theft, I don't know. Or something like that, of posing as someone like this. Yeah, that's worrying. But I wouldn't say it's like a real legal thing because they aren't actually going through the correct things. They're not going through the correct boundaries where I think, from what I understand, you have to like contact Reddit, get the email of the user, contact them through the email as a attorney or whatever. That's that. But holy fuck, this is just delusional as hell. And even then, if we just disregard it as even a troll, it's just still concerning. Like, why anyone would want to defend headphones as much is in itself almost like a mental illness, I'm gonna be honest. Then there's another post. Now, first, DMs pick up a story, link to video, link to post. What's the video? I'm curious. These metal headphones can't handle gruesome. Yeah, imagine that's a thing. Yeah, that's weird. And the post is just a post link to the video. Yeah, just it's not a good situation. This is just part one. November 9th, heavy screw finding something we accept out of the world as a dumpster fire already. Was it the best look on our part? Obviously not. I'm the one who sent the original messages, but to be fair, their old reviews by customers are already handled. They were already handled, thus making those 3 reviews pretty irrelevant. What? What the fuck? Sure. But I think that's just like saving face. You have to demonstrate this with action. So it's kind of a weird sort of thing to say. Not sure. It's good if they can back it up though, but you're saying this about deleted users supposedly. So I'm a bit confused by that. Even then, I've had issues with the heavies, and it actually has to be repeated. I do not recommend them at all. Even with the decent audio and with a decent noise isolation and noise cancelling, except the bugginess in wired mode, it's okay, but it's not anything special. It's nothing good. I'd say it's just you could get a better pair of headphones for much less that price. Like the Soundcore B30s, I think I had, actually pretty decent, but they're much better than heavies in every way possible, which is really strange. For headphones that budget, it's just bad. Anyway, see part 2, heavies we read it today. They say it's an 8-month-old post, so following all that you think the heavies drop it, but no, they double down. Being unable to remove bad sentiments from a subreddit, they fabricate positive sentiment across Reddit. They do this in the scummiest way possible, astroturfing. And astroturfing the noun, a deceptive practice of presenting and orchestrating marketing a public relations campaign in the guise of unsolicited comments from the members of the public. In other words, heavies is not going to bomb me, heavies crowning heavies of the middle. Actual Reddit posts asking what headphones to buy. They create around a dozen new accounts looking tend to look like new normal Redditors. I've got their accounts began commenting on old posts recommending heavies to people, hundreds of comments across in terms of advice, earbuds. Headphones screaming, PC Master Race? Huh? How? Look, hang on. Why PC Master Race? That doesn't make sense. I'm trying to think why they would even go there. It's not like Mick Gordon has like any sort of like signature heavies backs or anything. I don't know. That is so weird. Unless it's like, let's get in my mouth. Like metal musicians. Let's get in my mouth. That sounds like a metal name. This is like metal musician gamers, which they definitely are, but they're not very public. And then there's subreddits, Metal for the Masses and Headphones India. In some cases, they create posts asking for recommendations and answer themselves with another account. Ah, interesting. There's a sample of what it looks like, and they list the users and a post asking for recommendations in an archive. Which, can I access it? So this, come on. Archive. Musician here, whatever has he using for guitar practice and mixing. It's time to upgrade the cans, we're doing a late night guitar run and it's a direct recording. Trying to use. I've been using heavies for guitar session. What the hell is this? It just seems crazy. You know, all these users, like, they can't be genuine because also they've got the names and then the numbers in them. Not sure. I think some people are real, and I definitely have not really a real name, but I am a person. That's pretty easy to prove anyway. But still, this is just, yeah, that is kind of dystopian. Like, what the fuck are you thinking? There's another one recommending, another one recommending. I felt so from the first place, so they're taking turns asking and answering. There's only accounts in play, but this, for example, there are more accounts active with the campaign receipts, astroturfing. Yeah. You could say there's 5 to 10 accounts active on Reddit telling people to buy heavy products. Much okay, we wanted to about 8 years ago, we maintained a list of popular elephant choices for the community to try and cut. Down are objective questions. I never use affiliate links for click through. We calculate that it would generate about 150k US dollars a month if we use affiliate links. This subreddit is for hobby and never was promoted in any way. That was years ago, and we've grown in that time. ChatGPT has also vacuumed up our discussion and feeds back to the people. People spend tens of millions of dollars a month based on what goes on. What? Okay, I wouldn't say that ChatGPT is the best choice for this though. And they say being fooled into buying the wrong thing takes money from the companies that are making an honest effort, so hobby for newcomers. And they say what's next. The typical response would be to automatically remove any mention of the brand in future posts. That would just sweep the problem under the rug. Instead, wherever someone mentions heavies, auto-moderate will respond with a link to the post. It has been seen a few great subreddits crumble under its fake participation, with Reddit's being such a target in getting increasingly harder to deal with this. It's really out of control, as this year we banned tens of thousands of accounts this week just on this Reddit. That's another round allowing account creation to be fluffed. Okay, and if you made it this far, thanks for reading. Yeah, that is shit. As if the advertising wasn't a bad thing enough. Which really did piss me off, because if you're advertising for neurodivergent people, that is scummy as fuck. Because there aren't perfect headphones for neurodivergent people, and these aren't. They have issues, as I mentioned. And that's why I don't recommend it, and I'll definitely respond to that moderator who responded, which is nice. I obviously appreciate that. No, it's not public. No, that's not. It's just mod mail, okay. That's fair. I'll respond to mod mail. That's where they sent this link, but it's public. Yeah, this is shit. I might even just headline the podcast with this. Yeah, this is shit. I'm not getting another heavies product anyway, just because of the reliability issues on my own. But for sure, the marketing stuff is weird as fuck, and I do agree that other headphone brands need a chance. That's why I've often had different ones in every aspect, well, every time I need to replace them, actually. I've already listed my sort of history with them, and even then I'm suspicious about some of them, even though they worked well. But still, I think it's really important to sort of get this under wraps and also make people aware that I'm aware of this now, which is great. Also, more power to us, I guess, for having the knowledge and knowing about things. I'm seriously running out of time today. I haven't even completed things. Yeah, I do think this is a massive clusterfuck, and yeah, shame on heavies. This is just terrible, because obviously we need to do something about this and the marketing and stuff. I just think the way that it's obviously done and the cost of these headphones is just not good. I think if you wanted to repair your reputation, you obviously apologise for all this, and obviously you stop doing this shit as well. Thankfully I wasn't used as a thing for this, whatever it is. But yeah, this does really suck, not gonna lie. You know, I could have been someone that actually promoted them like years ago, just because it was a decent pair of headphones for the time that I used them, but again, they failed. The wired stuff started breaking, the entire like Hellblocker mode didn't work properly, and this marketing stuff as well is just shit. I don't agree with using ChatGPT and obviously deciding whether they're criminals or not and dumbing down the discussion, but still, this just isn't a good situation in the slightest. Again, that's why I tried different headphones, is to at least give companies a bit of fuel, I guess, to keep going and to give myself an experience with new headphones. Not necessarily that I'm an audiophile, I don't claim to be one. It's just that I need specific pairs of headphones and I've not found a single one to sell them. Because they've each had their own issues, even the Beyerdynamics here, which is noise isolation issues. They don't have any. It's just weird because they are rated for it, but I don't know what's going on with that. But then speaking noise isolation, I only mean this noise, like my CPU going, the fans going on, not on that, I just don't want to hear it. And then yes, I've got fan control on that, but still. But very fucked situation. Anyway, I shall move on and I shall respond to the moderator, explaining my concerns and stuff, and I will say, like, yeah, I agree. I won't mention it in the next post, but hopefully I won't get removed for it because fucking hell, I've posted twice in the last 2 days and it didn't get submitted because of that. Because of these fucking headphones. Like, they're causing me problems outside of my review, and then my condemnation of it, like an anti-review, I guess, so then I don't agree with my review anymore. It's just shit. Anyway, let's fucking move on. Did you Done the Trick? It seems I've had a day or two of testing this. Yeah, 2 days. Luckily it's worked, and I'm happy about that. Because my god, was it an issue? I still have these lag spikes every now and then that seem to happen. Just like a random hitch and my entire system lags, and for some reason things crash every now and then. But other than that, I can actually run games with the newest drivers. Fucking finally. But it has led to one annoyance that I really find frustrating, because I've had to turn off HDR, but for some reason the NVIDIA overlay insists on only working when you have recording on. For some reason it forces recording, which is a bit fucking stupid because that takes resources. And I don't want that. I don't fucking care. Why would I use that? I've got OBS and it's a far superior system. Like, seriously, it's so fucking dumb. But I need to figure out exactly what to do there, because I need to open the overlay to get vibrance, and vibrance to help my games. Because it does help my games. I do think it's something. But yeah, I do like the extra settings because it can help. I really don't know what to do about this because it won't allow photo mode or game filters. Game filters I use quite a bit. Yeah. It also says I've used system requirements. I've got the system requirements. I've got over 2 GB of memory. I've got a Ryzen 7 series. And I've got an RTX 30 series GPU, so what's going on? Disk space 600, always got that. OS Windows. Like, what? Unless I'm just on the wrong thingy, the wrong, whatever it is here. Like the wrong update patch, whatever. I don't know. Oh my god, it's so fucking stupid. Other than that, I haven't had many other issues. I couldn't fix the HDR issue, it seems, because Windows doesn't like it. Because I really wanted to use it again, but it still has bugs. It oversaturates images on for 4D. Don't know why. I'm curious to know if that'll happen on like a mini PC. But it's so annoying it does that, because I would like to experience HDR at least once in my life. But no, it seems too good to be true. It's a mythical thing. Don't know why it never fucking works, but whatever. I can live with it. I am happy with digital vibrance. It all makes me wish it's just baked in anyway, like HDR, so that it should just worked. You don't need a fucking setting to do it. What else is there? Visually it's not changed much, although having said that, I noticed my sleep mode on the system now goes quicker. I don't know if that's because I've updated the GPU and stuff, like video drivers and parts of the Gigabyte one, but I can't tell. It's very interesting either way. Things have definitely changed, and also I noticed a quicker latency as well. Again, this might be down to just the, what do you call it? Maybe Windows update, but I don't know, like, maybe it has improved the latency rather. So when I was recording guitars and playing Rocksmith, it felt more responsive. Like, I actually felt like I was in sync for once. So it's very weird. I don't really understand what goes wrong there. And also with the focus right. When it sort of worked with that, I was kind of shocked. Didn't get the time to play with it today. To play with my solo. But I'll try something tomorrow if I have time, and planning to get an early night tonight because I need it. Couldn't exercise today, which sucks, and also I need to exercise tomorrow. Fuck, it's my weightlifting day. I plan to go out in the week, so it'll be interesting. Not sure actually. What have I got on the list again? Yes, I'll write down the list. I'll go into that actually, the next topic. It'll be kind of fun. Yeah, well, right, on paper list. So we got bananas, hummus, not essentials. Bananas will be, but that's only till next week. Berries got chips. I say berries got actually, but waiting for them. Chips I just have every now and then. Nut butter on the way. Raisins, oats, vegan milk protein. I have Alpro. So this rice. Some of them wrote the C as an E. So rice. It's not the same. Yeah, I like my microwave rice. It's nice. Vinegar. Then Jaffa cookies, because Jaffa cookies are apparently vegan. Very surprised by that. Lidl's did a great one for that, but I'm curious to try the official. Weirdly enough, it's the only thing I could say that I've tried is actually like Jos Class. I used to have Jaffa cakes before I was cutting out animal products, and they weren't amazing. They were just alright. Nice strong orange flavour though. And washing up liquids, yeah, not essentials, so I can wait. Okay. Stay in today, which is makes a change. But yeah, don't know what else to say or add. Let me double check the radio. I forgot what I was even talking about. That seems to be clear on this front, which is good. YouTube. Anything else? Not that I can see. I think people stop responding to my nocturnal short response. Yeah, it's going to be interesting if that ever grabs Nick's attention. Anyway, I better move on. One extra thing here for the DDU, I'm not sure what I've spoken about, but it seems to have also cleared up some of my file space, which I didn't expect. I used to have like bordering about 10 gigabytes free most times, with obviously a folder full of video, which is part of the reason why I want to upgrade the storage anyway, up to 2 terabytes. But even weirder is I just didn't understand where the hell I was even using up that storage space. And it turns out with DDU, and probably other things I've done as well to be fair, that's the reason why it's doing that. So it's so weird that it's not only fixed things, but it's also giving me storage space. It's kind of crazy. I didn't expect such a simple solution. I forgot to respond to the guy who suggested that before. There's a thing. Can't remember when it was there. But yeah, either way, I'm quite happy about it anyway. Didn't really expect it to work. So yeah, I was just saying, maybe there's just more to the story than you think. Although I'm having less of the power problems I've noticed with at least the what do you call it? You know, when it just lags, it itches. Anyway, that's it. So let's actually move on. Here's the moment you've been waiting for. Good luck translating that. Anyway, stop. Yeah, so I make lists on paper. What are you gonna do about it? People might be weirded out by that. Like, I still write paper lists as if I'm an old person. But there's actually a very good reason why, and it's more like a tactical reason, a tactical sort of safety reason. It'd be very weird to explain. Literally, the reason that I still write paper lists is I just don't like the idea of getting my phone out in public. I rarely ever do it, and if I do, it's to look up something, but I rarely ever get it out even at restaurants, because there's just not really any point. If I do get them out, then get the phone out rather. It's just more likely to be grabbed and stolen, even though there's no value in this one because it's dying, which may or may not be a good thing. But it's still not worth it. And this also has a lot of the things on it that I rely on. It's my whole account on it. It has my notes, my shopping lists and stuff. It's like a way to track it. That's how I do it. But then I just write the list down on paper so that I avoid losing things easily, and I could still have a backup if I need it. And I'm less likely to take my phone out as well. But just writing a shopping list just seems more enjoyable too, and also because of my OCD, this is another thing. It's not just the fact that someone could come along and steal, it's the fact that germs touch me. Even though some trolleys say that they, or trolleys or baskets say they are like what was it? What do you call it? Not convertible, antibacterial. That was it. I was tired. Some say that, and I don't believe it. It just doesn't seem right, and especially when you look at the wiring and stuff in some of the trolleys, it's like, that looks dirty, and it is. A lot of the time I've found dirty baskets before. Even seen some with liquid in it, it's just this, it's like brown liquid. It's the worst one possible. Like old UK stuff is so weird. You just find that. But yeah, the main thing is just OCD. As I tend to do, I have a habit of washing my hands a lot, and speaking of which, I haven't gotten the dry hand problem in a while. It's weird. I don't even play that much. What was it? How was it called again? Well, let's say hand conditioner, but no, it's not hand wash. No. Hand and body lotion. Okay, that's what I use. I do have another one, nourishing hand cream. But Garnier. It's vegan and cruelty free. I didn't know that actually. But I thought, okay, I'll look this up and I'll find something. Yeah, if it's not vegan, then sadly I'm gonna have to choose one over the other or something. If it's not cruelty free, I'll have to choose the other one, obviously. And it's kind of one of the first things that come up. And I tried it, and it's actually a really nice cream. It smells great. It's very florally, I think. Not sure what to describe it as, really. But it works. It makes my hands all moisturised. And I put that on at night because I can't use it while I'm gaming. Otherwise I'll be butterfingers. It's essentially the equivalent of putting butter on your hands, but yeah. But OCD the main thing. That's really that. I try to avoid as many like risks in those situations as possible. I don't really like touching things in general. I've even got a hand wipe in my phone case. And I also use pretty old-fashioned phone cases anyway. It's a weird thing about me. I don't really prescribe to a lot of the sort of newer stuff because I find there are flaws in them. Like people want a hard case for their phones, and I'm just like, why? You can't put anything in it. You can't privatize your phone either. It's just so weird. I don't know what goes on in people's minds sometimes. I've always had a flip case, and that's always worked for me. Except for obviously the fact that once it killed my wireless credit card thing. What's it called? Contactless, that's it. Yeah, it turns out the magnets in these can kill the contactless credit cards, which is very weird. I never knew that. I literally went to the bank like a few years ago to address that problem. I was like, why does this never work? Like, can you explain? And then he said, like, can you show me your phone case? I was like, okay. Showed him, it's got a magnet on it. It's like, that's why. They don't work well. I literally never knew it. As a result, I've got this dedicated wallet now. I've had it for a while, actually. It's really good. Put like little paper things on it. I've got a mini pen as well for like writing. It stores the money and stuff. It's safe in there as well. It's far away from any magnets, so it'll always work. I have considered obviously like the phone wallets or something. I can't remember what they're called now, where you scan the phones. It seems convenient, but I do worry about the potential of like a security risk and that, like being robbed essentially without knowing. I think that can happen. You need like RFID blocking, which my wallet actually has. It's just very interesting. I think it does anyway. But I'm always a tactical person as well. Like even on my keyring, for example, I've got a keyring from Ridge, which sucks. Don't get Ridge. Get a knockoff brand. Trust me on that, because they are much better out there. It's such a pain to grab the keys, but I spent so much on it that I might as well just stick with it. Until I come into some money and can replace it. But yeah, but I'm a very functional person, I suppose, for lack of a correct term. I just don't like when I waste opportunities in that sense, and as well, and that's why I also do the shopping list thing. As I have a chance to just go back to a time where I don't stare at a screen all day. I don't really stare at screens all day except on my computer, which is about 8 to 12 hours a day. But I try not to, and obviously less blue light time, the better. So that's why I do that. And with the key ring and stuff, obviously on the Ridge, you do have a key slot on the end, which is handy. I put things on it that are just functional. I have my like personal stuff, like a Fox, a Atlantic, a pansexual flag. What did I put on there? I think it's a loot bug actually. I put on the keyring. I do have a Molly and barrel keyring as well. Got those ages ago, and I still have my golden loot bug piggy bank. Probably never going to give that away. Be a great centerpiece. But imagine having that at the table with like flowers in it. That'd be fucking wild. Other things on the keyring that I thought were interesting. I do believe I have a tape measure on it, which is fascinating. Yeah, I think the tape measure is a great addition to it though. It's like a mini one, it goes up to not 2 meters, no. I think it's like 50 centimeters or 1 meter. It's like such a handy fucking thing. Like again, I love functionality. In my phone case, what have I got? Other than the thingy, I've got a SIM card thing, just for easy keeping. I've got the trolley coin. I've also got that on my keyring. Not sure what else. I don't have anything else in it, I don't think. Speaking of which, where's that wipe go? It's still in that? Yeah, it's okay. Double check. But again, that's why I'm functional. I just do those things because I can, and it may come in useful one day. I know the pen and paper has, when people are bored, especially if there's like kids, although I don't really stick around kids really, don't really know people with them. But, I don't know, even then that'll be useful for that. Yeah, I suppose it turned into another conversation entirely, which I thought was interesting and kind of necessary, to be honest. I really think people need to rethink about these things, and to do things that are more functional. Again, that's why I've always shout on something like D-Brand, for example, where they only sell skins and not functional things. And even then, it's all, their brand has always been controversial. I know they've been in some hot water recently, I think, with the Steam machine. But that was like fucking deserved. Just because you're like a high and mighty company with this marketing tactic that seemingly grabs people's attention, like you pretend to be this arsehole or something, it only works for so long. At a certain point, people just don't care. So I haven't. It's never really interested me either way. I don't care about skins, I care about functionality. Why do you think I have a sleeper PC? These brand things are so fucking useless. They even have that criticism about, like sponsorships, where there's like a food sponsorship, and they have these like pre-cooked meals and stuff, which is just, why? It's so fucking expensive. Why would anybody want that? It's obvious that people who are getting these sponsors just want the fucking money, and it's easy enough to ignore these things. But some people actually buy into it. It does affect people and it does impact them. I've certainly bought into some of these things sometimes. Not the same vein. I tried a brand called Chicken, I think. Chicken. And they did like ready meals and stuff, but I tried a bunch of them and they're just not good. Didn't taste right either. And the protein in it, the fake vegan chicken stuff, whatever, wasn't good. It's one of the worst I've ever had, I think. And that's saying something because I've had bad. But I've never tasted tasteless ones before. Because at least some of them have a cardboard flavour. That can be nice in its own way, if done well. Yeah, it's just disappointing. I've had that with other products sometimes. I can't remember what the other one I tried was. The other thing. Maybe, I won't say Huel was actually decent. I don't know. But it's always worth being wary about these things. There's other functionality in my life, I'm trying to think. I do have like specific systems and stuff when I go to do things. I brush my teeth and I push the toothpaste into the bottle so it doesn't fall off when I obviously rinse it a bit to get a bit of moisture. And also shake it a bit as well, shake it off so that there's less moisture so I can't make saliva and have it spill out my mouth. Having said that, I think I have like a baking soda toothpaste and it's done something to my lips, I don't know what. It's cracked them or something. Maybe I need chapstick. What else? Trying to think. I think nature is calling. She's not good. I need to address that soon. That's suddenly come on. Then again, I just have an Indian meal fit for 2 people. For 1 person. What else? Any other functionality? I do a lot of things that are very niche and very specific. I have a specific way of doing things, and that tends to be how I operate. How I make things easy on myself and how I get by. It's disappointing as well that people don't do stuff like that. It does kind of annoy me. And I have so many like tips and tricks to give people. It's just a matter of remembering them, writing them down. As I have done before, actually, I'll share them here. I just don't understand about why people aren't even attempting this sort of stuff. It feels very necessary in cases. I'm trying to think, there's one I discovered only a few weeks ago, so there are good like tips and tricks out there. Even just small life hacks that really work. Yeah, I can't think of any for some reason. And even then I DIY and stuff. Literally figured out a way to hoist my aircon hose. Because there happened to be some curtain rails from where I wanted to try tucking the curtains in behind the door. Turns out I just needed better curtains with longer sort of lips, I guess, for lack of a correct term. But I actually figured it out with this lace stuff that I have, because I bought this lace stuff to learn how to tie and I couldn't. It took me a while to fucking tie because I can't remember how to do it. I don't know how to do it. And even when I've relearned it, it's just I can't figure it out. And even then, the basic knot stuff for some reason has disappeared off the face of the internet. So I can't figure out how you do it. So I just did like I think it's like an 8 knot or something. I can't remember what it's called. I think you like wrap it over itself and then put the loop through another something. I don't know. But it works for the most part. The only thing I worry about is if it will come off the curtain rail, because my last one came off. Actually, it just fell off when I was using it. It wasn't even Yankee on it. It just came off on its own. Just, I don't know what's going on there. However, again, I do stuff like that. Just to be clear, I'm not looking for a date. I guess it can be handy if I need to. It just ends up happening. We even tries to fix things that seemingly are unfixable. Like my treadmill there, actually, the little thing that is stuck on it and they put to keep it up, it's obviously broken, but I tried to extend it by putting tape on it. It's kind of worked, but not really, because you need to pull it all the way out, which is so fucking annoying. And what I need is some sort of thing to put around it, like a rubber thing, or I don't know, maybe even like a pendant, but something along those lines. I was speaking like a whiteboard pen lid, if that could even fit. Maybe even a Sharpie lid, actually. That's a good point. How big is it? Sharpie, oh, that's too big. Damn it, unless you filled it with something. Could super glue it. But that does pose a risk, and again, it's a size issue as well. Size matters. I really don't know. It's kind of hard to figure this out. Because unless it's like a very niche thing that I've kept, it has like a weird knobbly bit on the end. Almost like the feet of something, but I don't know. It's kind of fucked. So I have no idea. Yeah, so I'll try to figure things out. Anyway, let's move on. How the fuck did they become my favourite animal? I suppose that's something people might ask. Again, it's a weird question. Damn, where do I even begin with this? So around the time I was in school, I was obviously quite an energy person at the time. Just trying to be down with kids, like, you know, my age. And I wanted to be kind of cool, so I was listening to a bunch of stuff and followed the things that my friends did as well. Although we're mainly into Transformers and war things for some reason. That was like our specialty. Played Battlefield, Call of Duty, Transformers, and there were probably other games like Saints Row. Actually, Just Cause was great. It's a great middle ground, actually, the Just Cause series. Always appreciated those games. But yeah, it's kind of weird, and one of the things we were into happened to be Sonic, but that was more of a side thing. They weren't seemingly autistic coded, but I think they are, looking back on it. But we were just into this sort of stuff as well, and my friend was a big fan of metal bands like Five Finger Death Punch, and I can't remember what the other friend was into actually. It never really made himself very public, actually. It's kind of a weird aspect of his life. But either way, we got along well, and eventually we got into watching anime. First one I watched ever, I think, other than Pokemon when I was a kid, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually, there's actually been a few animes, but the first one I actually sat down and watched the entire series of at the age of 15 was High School of the Dead. Oh boy. This series was just, yeah. And obviously, as you might expect, it sort of got onto other things, and that got me into anime, and you probably can see where this is going. Eventually, I got into Sonic from that, the Sonic X anime, and I watched the entire thing, and I was disappointed by the end. I've got to admit, one of my favourite characters in that was Tails, from memory anyway. And with Tails, obviously, I came to like him as a sort of romantic interest. Weird enough, it is sort of one of the only boys I've seen. I thought, oh my god, she's kind of cute and he's kind of amazing as well. And that just sort of inspired me and stuff. And one of the things that was really great about him was he reminded me of like dogs and stuff. And I've been around dogs my whole life. Foxes remind me of dogs, essentially. And I got more into like vegetarianism at the time as well, and so I was more interested in animals than ever. And eventually, obviously, that interest in tails got me thinking about foxes and other animals. And I think it's very interesting to look back on, because I think that's obviously like a big thing there. Foxes have always found somewhat cute and also very much like me. They're sort of like I'm not going to say it's an otherkin. Otherkin is a different thing. But I feel like that is my sort of spirit animal. The one animal I sort of resonate with most. We're kind of quiet but loud, kind of shy, anxious and keep our distance, but also kind of have a bad bite. But also just into the same things as each other, really. I just feel like I'm more in line with foxes, and that's always been a thing for me. I've always loved foxes for that reason. And I found out about something horrible like fox hunting around that same time, and it just really made me sad, because it's like, what the fuck? Why are people killing these beautiful creatures? It never made any sense, and it still doesn't. But yeah, I think for the most part though, the love for foxes, or of foxes, it came from that moment in time. I started to really appreciate them and like them. And I was also watching content on YouTube like rescuing foxes and like wildlife charities and stuff. I even supported one, Wildlife Aid, and got a cute fox plushie. I still have it here all these years later. And yeah, it's been a great sort of gift. It's also a really well made plush as well. A toy, I'm not even sure what it is actually. It's considered as, but I love it. And that's again sort of sparking my love for foxes, because they are amazing animals, really. There's different variants around the world. Like, we only have the sort of British red fox, I guess, where we are. There's also like fennec foxes in more desert areas. There's also sort of Arctic foxes and obviously snowy areas. Like, man, there's so many different foxes out there, and it's just so fascinating. The tails and Fennekin from Pokemon are based on the Fennekin Evo line. They're based on fennec foxes. Eevee's sort of based on a fox in a way, as well as the evolutions. It's sort of a mix of multiple animals though. Obviously Vulpix is based on a fox. I'm trying to think, I swear there was other fox Pokemons. Fox is definitely one. Can't think of any others though for some reason. But yeah, again, that's sort of where my love for foxes came from. It's just really a thing where I really was invested in sort of understanding these animals and seeing everything they had. Why they're so fascinating to me. And that's obviously led on to more wholesome content where you could have people who have rescued foxes, but the foxes become domesticated, like for one reason or another. I don't like the channels where they domesticate them just for domestication's sake, like a dog. Because obviously foxes are not supposed to be indoor animals, but some have to by choice, because their survival is maybe not as good, or their rescuers involves too much human contact, so they're not suited for the wild, and that sort of thing. But that's often why those things happen. And yeah, and obviously I used to watch channels like Save a Fox, for example, which have been a great channel. And obviously it's really sad what happened to, I forgot her name now, sorry. It's really sad what happened to her. It does feel like a fur industry thing, oddly enough, so like badly timed, obviously with US politics and stuff. which I feel is probably one of the things that started this whole thing anyway, caused that to happen. But yeah, and obviously still think I will always love foxes. It's always been, will be a part of my life. There's such a big impact. I even have a poster of a fox, like a galactic fox, from display. I'm not sure how AO it is because they don't for some reason stay whether it is or not. Also makes them a very suspicious company from that. Um, yeah, I don't really have anything else to add. I just felt like sharing that. It's something very personal to me and still very important. That's why I tend to have foxes as a part of my interests and things, and also the reason why I watch some things too. No doubt. You know, characters. There's so many fox characters out there. And obviously Tails. You've got the Pokemon. Then you've got. I'm trying to think what the other one was actually. There was like other foxes in the Sonic series actually. To be fair, it really depended. Something I can't remember. Zootopia. There's a Mick. Remember from ages ago. I watched that so long ago now. There's also been like fox species characters, sort of. I can't remember where I saw them though. You know, like the anime characters that have they're humans, but they have that trait. Beastars, maybe. I can't remember if Beastars had a fox. It'd be weird if they didn't. But yeah, so many different places anyway. Yeah, I definitely have known fox characters. Just can't remember them for some reason. Again, foxes have been so influential in my life. As always, love them, I think. Yeah, anyway, I need to move on. All my thoughts on GTA 6 leak before I obviously go to bed because I'm tired. I barely had any sleep. Luckily it's not because of this, because I don't lose sleep on a crappy game. And this one's about the GTA 6 leak, and obviously you've probably heard about it, but two things happened. First thing is there was a leak supposedly, and someone for some reason trying to get crypto, sell crypto or something, just getting people's attention for that, which is annoying. And the other one is more leaks with threats supposedly about leaking the ending. It's just nuts. And I don't know what to think about this, to be honest, because, you know, they've made a pretty good point about physical media just being absolutely killed by Rockstar, which I think is really bullshit. But this also has the potential, if true, to just absolutely ruin the game. Ruin the reputation that it has, obviously. And if I'm being honest, again, I don't really care. It's really shit that this obviously affects the developers in the end. But at the same time, you should have foreseen this. As a big company as you are, you should have. And also just doing the Netflix thing is just fucking stupid. I really do not get it. So again, I just don't understand all this shit. But it's so just dystopian as well. Because we shouldn't even be in this situation anyway. It should be just literally, I don't really like using political terms to describe a game, but a socialist sort of mentality where we actually do address this. We go after the leaker ourselves and expose them to whatever, but in this case I can't justify it. Because what they're doing is actually the socialist thing, ironically. As if obviously leaking things and trying to get into massive legal trouble. But that's a capitalist thing, not a socialist thing. A socialist would probably take them to court at most and fine them. But other than that, it's not really any real harm done, and society as well needs to get their attitudes into gear and correct their attitudes or course of action. But either way, it's just so frustrating. We're in this situation again. Just, it sucks. And I know from before there was a sort of leak, and that seemingly disappeared off the face of the earth. But yeah, it's just so disappointing. What is going on at this point? Jesus, for one of the most historical game releases in recent history. And yeah, it's about to essentially go down, if again true, if the leaks are real, because we can't just discount this as, you know, it's a proper leak when it could just be made in GTA 5, or it could be made with something else entirely, like an AI generator. And you never know. It'd just be completely made up. That's always an option here. Maybe the leak is just made to do that. It's made to feel threatening. And who knows, like Rockstar might come out and say, like, well, this gameplay footage is fake. We don't actually have this in our game, and they'll prove it. But especially when the Netflix leak will come around, that'll be a thing. So yeah, I'm just gotta say I'm not surprised. I think it's a bit stupid. But again, I don't think there's any winning in this situation. Probably only losing, as it will be. And also like the Ultimate Edition thing, which really enough wasn't called out, as far as I'm aware. I think the Ultimate Edition should be called out. It's just so dumb. For what's going to be one of the most profitable games of all time, there's just no reason for that. Just for a fucking edition like that. Anyway, I think I shall move on. Oh my. It was supposed to be a pretty smooth day, turned out to be a fucking disaster. For some reason. I don't understand what's going on. Oh my god, this fucking sucks. Where do I even begin? I think the first thing is just this thing that I tried to do, because I'm making a cover, obviously. No surprises there. But it's going to be an interesting one because I'm doing a Animals as Leaders style breakdown. Or trying to. And I can't really do the thumping thing. For some reason my fingers just don't do it. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So exactly as the tutorial says, I'm not getting the same sound. So I have no idea what the deal with that is, so I just have to look up ways to sort of make that work, or at least do it slowly. Which kind of works, but also doesn't. It's weird. So I have to figure out something with that. But that wasn't the thing that pissed me off. It turns out getting it to work was the thing that really annoyed me. Because where most VSTs, like Leader, which I bought as well, is awesome, without just work, you know, just do its thing, install the VST, put in a code or activation, confirm it obviously, and it'll work. You know, there's no problems with that. Honestly, it's fine. And it's just good that VSTs do that. But when you've got something like NeuroDSP, which I'm definitely going to call out because this is shit, in my opinion, when they're doing shit like you need to use a thing, like, there's two ways it's said. Like, I'm confused, so confused by this. First way is that it's said to basically go the route of doing an activation key, and this was obviously per the page where I bought it on the receipt. It said that I think I'd get like a license key or something, and I obviously waited and waited and nothing came up. Nothing in my inbox and nothing even on my account. Nothing in the invoice either. Which is already very suspicious, because I thought, oh, maybe I've been scammed somehow. So that was confusing. Also, weirdness happened. I was actually looking for one on Amplitude, but nothing came up at a bossy tone. No, nothing happened there, which is really frustrating. But yeah, like, this kind of shit is so annoying. It really feels like it should not be a thing. But anyway, that happened, and I installed it as per the instructions, and you know, it's fine. It's all installed, and then I opened it up in FL Studio, thinking, okay, I've got no license key, let's just run with it then. And it said you have to activate it with a license key, despite not receiving one. Okay, sure. I guess that's a thing now. So I look for the license key again, and nothing. Absolutely nothing. And then I wonder, what did it mean by this license manager thing that I lock? Or whatever it's called. I can't even remember what it's called now. And I do have that already, just for the auto audio stuff. Which I've had several errors with, by the way, because the internet fucking turns off when I put my PC on sleep mode. But for some reason it seems to think that you can't run it offline, and that's where one of the issues is. There's no offline mode for it, even though it says it has one. But it still doesn't work offline. It is very fucking janky, I don't understand this shit. So yeah, already is sort of a big mess from that perspective of it as well. But anyway, no license key, so no running, and then FL Studio kept returning it as an error. When I couldn't do that, I tried logging in and it didn't work, because for some reason my login keeps changing, or whatever they're asking for. It's not the right login, so I don't understand what they're doing. And after a lot of fucking hassle trying to figure it out, I realised I should just go to the license manager. And what do you know is and also you have to link it on your account, so that was also an annoyance. So yeah, on the new DSP account, you can link the iLock account, which makes sense now. But they didn't say that. They didn't provide any instruction like that whatsoever. So that was a bit fucking stupid. That really pissed me off and wasted a bunch of my time. Thanks, I guess. But seemingly it showed up in the license manager, so obviously I activated it. Went into FL Studio. Error. What? Why? And I tried to open it, tried to troubleshoot it, couldn't find any solutions for a while. And I decided to restart the project, obviously, because I still had it open, the one I'm working on. And it still came back as an error for some fucking reason. It turns out, I looked this up, FL Studio is a really stupid feature where when it scans plugins, it doesn't reset, it doesn't scan the error ones. Which is just baffling. What the fuck are you doing? It should be scanning the ones with errors. Because if it isn't an error, then it's just a fucking bug, isn't it? Consider a bug and an error two different things. A bug is what happens when something glitches the fuck out. Which this certainly has, because it's not an error. It is just a bug, from what I could tell. And an error obviously would just be something critical, where it literally crashes. But this isn't a fucking crash, so it doesn't fit that category. It doesn't even have anything like fatal going on either, so again, it's just a load of fucking bullshit. And that really did piss me off. I'm already so tired, and I've lost so much sleep over the past few days. I've only, 5 hours, and then another 5 hours, or 6 hours I think actually. And last night I got 4 hours, even though I went to bed on time. Just, I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to keep on track even now, because I should be on time now, but the way things are going, I don't know. We're all living in a gangster's paradise. Yeah. But anyway, I got it working. It turns out you have to tick an option in FL Studio plugins, and that worked. And it could have just scanned it and figured out, oh, it's still returning an error. Nope, FL Studio is made by a fucking bunch of monkeys or something. I don't know. Monkeys on a typewriter. I would like to switch, but I'm just so scared of what I'll encounter in the other ones, like what bullshit I'll see. I'm so used to the shortcuts and stuff that FL Studio has, and also the effects as well. Even though I love better effects, I prefer that over anything else, and also use more sort of synthesized stuff. Like, it sort of forced me out of that habit of using flex and whatever. But even then, it's just going to be a big job to set up, I think. Because even then, it's just like, yeah. I consider Reaper, and that's because of a recent one. I've encountered a recent thing. I have to look into it more so than anything else, and when I have time, actually, that's probably one of the big things. Could even do my next project in there and see. But as it currently stands, I'm not sure. I'll write it down, I think. So, write down. Oh god, I've got to add lead to this, but is it even worth it with that? Because I'll just wait and see, but yeah, I'll try and write install and try Reaper. I can't remember what the one that everyone said was good. Actually, well, I'll quick. What is the best male door? Musicians. Just my old account. No, 7 years. No, wait, it could be. 2019. I don't think the genre determines the door you should use. A lot of male musicians use Reaper, others use Pro Tools, Logic, Cubase. You should look into different ones, see what's appealing to you. That's a good point, actually. Reaper, door, Logic, door. I know you got Cubases, it's shit. I hated it because it came with the Steinberg MK2. It's awful. It's awful. I just never want to see it again. What was the other one? Logic, Cubase, Pro Tools. Yeah, I've already written. Haven't I? Reaper, Logic, Pro Tools. That's it. Also, it depends on whether these are Mac specifics. So Reaper, let's see. That's a familiar looking one. Yeah, I've definitely seen this. Let's see, Razor edits, what the hell is this? Pitch shift time stretch? Ooh. Okay. That is very interesting. Hold on. Change the page on me. Surround pan? The fuck? It's very interesting. Also, it depends on how, if it's like cost. Cost purchase, not so much. Discounted license, commercial license, okay. It's actually not bad of a price. It's about 50 quid. That was just surprising. I wonder if that comes with everything though. It doesn't really say. Yeah, let's look at Logic. Oh, it's an Apple product. Fuck off. Pro Tools, Avid. See. Tell me it's a subscription. Why? Oh wait, that was Apple's Logic. Okay, this is Pro Tools. But why is there not just a normal version? Is there just a license one? License. Additional offers perpetual license. Oh. To buy and upgrade perpetual license. Is that what it says? What I think of? Just a one-time license. License. I don't know. It doesn't say, does it? It's just saying what's new. How to buy or upgrade a Pro Tools perpetual license. More Pro Tools. No, it's not helpful. But it only says those versions, so I'm not gonna bother then. So that's like Reaper is like a no-brainer there, I guess. So fucking weird. I'll have to try Reaper then, I suppose, if there's a free version. Free, you get 60 days of evaluation free with full functionality, no strings attached. Okay. Please download and evaluate Reaper before purchase. That's interesting. Yeah, that'll be considered, I think. For sure. It seems promising in a way. It seems like it could do stuff. But it also depends on how it functions with if my fucking audio interface works. Yeah, it's very weird. Anyway. Try this out. I wonder if you could transfer like the racks and stuff that you have somehow. Not sure. But yeah, as I said, like music stuff, a bit stupid, a bit complicated. I don't understand it. It's a bit silly sometimes, especially this. I think you should just have a license and that's it, and have it only verified once and that's that. But no, like apparently according to iLock, you don't deserve a license. It's really fucking stupid. And even though you can activate per device, I've tried that. It doesn't work. It still registers things as being online only, or cloud activation, as it says there. But even then, the desktop ones, I've already got these enabled. So where's my... Is that why it's not... Okay, apparently it's on the cloud only. Activate. Confirm move. Move successful. Okay, I think I fixed it. That's good. It doesn't count as an activation, which is also very good. Huh. Well, that solves the problem. It's not as stupid as I thought. It's just weird that it doesn't do that by default. Like, what the fuck? Also, the only issue is if I lose this PC and I can't access it, it's just gonna not work, and that's gonna fucking suck. And also, it's on the drive where, you know, it's potentially failing. So I don't know. It's a bit risky, but I've got 2 more activations after that, and even then, I'll be a bit more mindful on that. But this drive shouldn't fail anyway. Let's move on to the next one. Just confirming that it's Jank again, ironically. But other than the Nero DSP thing today, I've also tried to hook up with... I'm just kidding, I won't hook up with anyone. But trying to fix rather the issue around getting these to work. So, like, the major thing seems to be that I need to get this working somehow, get the system working to allow me to... Hopefully I'm not hearing other things. Input that, okay. This is drawing around things, but I'll explain. Rocksmith ACDC has a massive glaring issue in that you can't pick up the audio, and I'm guessing that Chainbrain actually uses the WAS API method, or WASAPI. It sounds weird. See, I always wondered how it is that Chainbrain can play so many hours and yet still have this latency issue, which I've noticed on his streams, and I think that's why. I tried the WASAPI method, and even though it works when you deselect the output on RS mods, as there's an RS ASIO settings section, it comes with a massive delay. And I'm not even sure the audio quality is even the same as in the output audio, so I don't know what's going on there. It seems very suspicious to me. I don't know what's going on with that. So it's very strange. I don't like it, as is probably obvious from this, but even just playing the raw audio is fine. But this just doesn't seem to work. So I'm obviously looking for an alternative where there's like no latency. And from what I can gather, from what I understand about audio, it's just a matter of getting the output from my audio interface, Focusrite Scarlett, to actually work with being outputted to OBS somehow. So I need some way to replicate the audio that's going into it, which is invisible, by the way. There's no simple, oh, it's an RS ASIO driver in this place. Yeah, that doesn't exist. Which I find really stupid, and that's probably one of my biggest issues with the coding. So it's been impossible to find a solution to this, because all of them are complicated and all of them are just janky as well, from what I can tell. So it's like there's no low latency method, which seems really silly because this makes it very inaccessible. And now people who are planning probably to use Rocksmith as a learning tool and then write on an audio interface, and also do the same thing, like play Rocksmith with an audio interface, and yet this shit makes it just unaccessible. Because it literally isn't inaccessible, it's unaccessible. There is no fucking way you can learn this, because it's literally an audio engineering job. I'm lucky enough to have some understanding of what's going on there, even set up voice meter somehow to run 2 sets of audio, one through my studio headphones, obviously they're Beyerdynamics pile of shit, and the other through my Melomanias, which have a delay, which is annoying. I have to figure that out somehow. But it seems to do somewhat of a job, question mark. But it led me down a route of tutorials, and there's this one by Sin, which I tried to use. However, I am not getting the same settings. Windows, like sound settings, are filled with these things, and the only thing missing is the output, just the plain output one, and I don't know where that is. But I could do everything else, but it doesn't show in voice meter. And I've got to admit, voice meter is very fucking complicated, it seems, just based on what I've seen so far on this. And it also just feels very silly. Once again, we're in a situation where software is just too complicated for the average person, and this is being recommended to them. It's being recommended to the average person. It's not fucking possible to use. So I don't really get it. It just feels very fucking backwards as hell. So what was that? Let's check that out quick. Don't know what that is. Oh my god, it's just so fucking dumb. But yeah, it's just, I don't understand it. Why is it so complicated? It just doesn't need to be this complicated, as far as I know it. And the best way to visualize the sort of ASIO stuff is to visualize it as a bus. Obviously, a bus has multiple seats, and that's the point. You can put in things, and obviously you can put out things as well. It depends. But it's meant to ride along, and obviously riding along has the output of just, sensory or whatever, like comfort. I don't know what to call it actually, in terms of like bus riding. It's the gist of it. The gist of it. It's not supposed to be complicated, but they've made it complicated for some reason, which again makes it very inaccessible. It's the same thing that I feel about GitHub. As an example, they hide the fucking download button every single thing, which in my opinion, I think they breaches a law sort of thing there. I don't know, there's probably some law out there that really will shit on that. But the fact they hide it is just so scummy. Every time I go to that site, it's like, where is the download button? And everyone has that issue. And I get that it's supposed to be for like coding and stuff, but when the average person is confronted with this, it's just going to be like, oh, give up. Because nobody wants to fucking deal with it. There is no world where people in this situation, this day and age, where they want to deal with this crap. Again, it's ridiculous. Nobody should be dealing with it. This amount of jank as well. It just feels so unnecessary. And like, it may be harsh as well to say this to the creator of RS ASIO, but you've done a terrible job on making it accessible. Because, you could have done so many different things here. For example, setting it up with the audio interface in mind, first of all, would be a better option. So the download options instead become download the zip file and drag that into Rocksmith, become instead download the specific zip file and drag that into Rocksmith. But before, obviously, you'd have to edit the ini file to include a bit of code from another fucking file that replaces that file. You get what I mean? There's so many stupid things around this. And I could do such a better job at this, because I'm very much pro accessibility on this. I'm not a coder, so obviously that's out my wheelhouse. But even just the setup in itself is so much easier to do, and even then, you just host it on a cloud platform. It's cheap. And it's easier to look at as well. Every time I've been on a sort of cloud hosting site with folders and stuff, it's pretty much easy to find what you need. And even then, people can support each other in that, I suppose. It's actually showing what to do or how to do it. I could be wrong. But my god, there's so many fucking issues here. But that's why I find it so ridiculous, and I'm going to read through the notes quick. Let's see. Yeah, I don't really have anything else. Again, I've just described it as jumbled up. The same thing could be said with voice meter here. And I have the banana version for anyone wondering. But I seem to have routed it so that I've got Focusrite ASIO as the primary device and Melomanias as my secondary. So I hear audio through my, obviously the studio headphones I've got at the moment, and also my Melomanias, which is perfect, but there is a delay, so I need to figure that out as well. But there is too much troubleshooting in this shit, and the easiest way they could have fixed voice meter to make it better for someone, better for the average person, is if they just offered a tutorial or setup sort of guide, like a proper setup in the software itself, so you can actually tweak things to how you want it to be by being asked. Like, what do you want your primary output to be? Do you want to hear this as well? Do you want to hear through this as well? That sort of thing. But even then, looking at this, it doesn't even give me any much more respect for even audio engineers, because I think tolerating this is also in itself just a crime. I'm just going to say it for what it is. That's why I always speak out against sort of stuff like this, and people say, what the fuck you want about it? They put their time and effort into this. Yeah, and it's for nothing. If anything, I'm trying to save you as well. You're just making people hate the software and hate you. That's not my problem. You've done this to yourself. If you choose not to make software accessible or even make an option for these things, it's your own problem. Again, with Rocksmith ASIO, again, it's your problem. You didn't decide to make this seemingly with the intent of making it possible to set up with OBS or even just streaming and stuff. You just made it with the intent to make it cleaner. And that's good and all, and I would like people to obviously have that passed on, or people to even adopt it and adapt it rather. But you can't just be doing this stuff and expecting an applause or even just donations. You need to offer something that people can actually use, much like Slopsmith. That offered such great options and ended up being very beneficial. Speaking of which, I never thought of that. But then again, I don't have the same tone, so it's a bit difficult. But once again, I'm just at square one and I'm asking around on the voice meter subreddit about what to do. I think I might have figured out a way, but I'm not doing anything more today because I really need to sleep. I've lost so much sleep over just stress and other things, I imagine. But I don't know what else it is. I don't know why I'm losing sleep. It's becoming a real problem and obviously affecting my mental health. It just feels so shit. Everything just feels like it's falling apart at the moment, and I'm also struggling with money because I need to get the video card, I need to get the storage for my next PC, and then I need to get a monitor because I'm fed up with this 1080p monitor that's fucking annoying me. It really annoys me because I can't drag things properly, and it has weird scaling issues. Don't get it. It's just terrible. But I need to figure out solutions to this and also get money, but I don't know how. I'm losing time on just troubleshooting things, and then I'm losing time I could be using to fucking sell stuff. It's so annoying. And even then I had a consideration, even more recently, where I might even want to sell my Hornsby X guitar, because I had a realisation that I maybe want to get something else. I maybe want to get something from Skill Design again, or another custom guitar maker. Because if I can't find an 8-string option that I like, then I might as well get a custom one again, as long as it's got finance, obviously. But obviously selling this guitar would help me fund new things like the monitor and computer, and I'd be able to obviously get myself a custom guitar in the future. Because when the Scurvers in arrives, I've already got a backup. But yeah, I don't know. It's again sort of things to consider. Yeah, I am really annoyed by this entire situation. Again, I've got so much going on in my mind and in my life. It's not good. I am literally breaking apart, having mental breakdowns every day. And going through like PTSD and stress. It just seems to be fucking everywhere at the moment. There's nothing that's not triggering. It's everywhere I go, it's like, okay, this thing triggers me, this thing triggers me. Me issue, I guess. How I address it, I don't know. That seems to be the difficult part. And I consider medication, but once again, medication can cause side effects that aren't even listed. So I don't know. And it's not even the intended side effects. I mean, it could cause anxiety, and even then when I was on metazapine, that caused like a certain type of stress that wasn't listed. Like insane level of stress, I think even more than I'm feeling now. But it also created so many other problems, like maybe depressed because I couldn't like masturbate properly, because even though I could, and sometimes obviously much quicker than depression, antidepressants, it still wasn't good. So I struggled with that, and that caused me other side effects, like again worrying if I would ever finish on time or if I would enjoy it or not. It just caused me so many fucking problems. And for something that's quite, in my opinion, my life as well, is somewhat integral. It's a stress reliever and it's a pleasure, really. What do I say here? It's just so fucking absurd. But anyway, I am about to move on in a sec. I was have to test Final Fantasy 14 with the setting. I'm not confident it'll sound great, but I'll give it a shot. Also, I need to figure out how to make it stop leaking through my other headphones, because that's going to cause issues as well. I think the only way is just a toggle in the software itself. I'll just tick A1 and then it's no longer playing through it, which is handy. I sort of wish it was a one button and done sort of thing. Then again, what is this second one for? Voicemail aux, voicemail first channel virtual input. Oh. I don't know. Yeah, maybe there's a difference. I'm not aware of it. We'll see. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to add. Just, again, technology really needs to step up its game. Because this is pretty much unacceptable. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's just shocking stuff. Anyway, let's move on. Hearing a cover of the somebody that I used to know from Moody Productions in the style of Queens of the Stone Age, it reminded me of an era of music that was very fucking weird. It's probably exclusive to the radio station that was more local to me, but my god, were the music selections strange. Because you had like a variety of music, they just didn't have any sort of set sort of thing for that. They'd play pretty much anything as long as it was like a popular song. But they also played other stuff, so they played like some of the Eurodance stuff that I used to like Robin S. and there was the other one, Chaka Khan, was it? I don't know if that's the actual name. But you know, also Strike, sure do. But they also played stuff like Bryan Adams, like Run to You. Pretty sure some of the later stuff as well. Summer of '69, that's a very popular one. That's played on there. There's other ones too, and it's fucking crazy. But then you go even further, as in not the older stuff, but you go later. And also there's like a bit of Michael Jackson and stuff in there. But they also played very recent music, like Got Ye's Somebody That I Used to Know, Payphone by Maroon 5, The Vida Loop, no, I can't remember, it's called Viva something by Coldplay. They play many different tracks, and it's just such a variety of music, I can't even remember all of it. But there's definitely popular ones. Dynamite, Tayo Cruz, I like to say the name is. Maybe, can I remember? Again, so many weird choices of music, it worked, but Again, it's such a strange era looking back on it, because we had the mix of music there. They also played complete garbage every now and then. I can't remember exactly all of them. I'm pretty sure 1,000 Miles was played sometimes, and I specifically remember the adverts for Morrison's playing that. I don't know why. Get 50% off your roast chicken dinner only at Morrison's. What the fuck? Sure. Yeah, it is a very weird era. The 2010s up to about 2015, and we also had popular music like Style, Gangnam Style, Harlem Shake. There are probably others that I can't remember. But there were such varieties of tracks that you just didn't know what to do with. It was always such a bizarre era for music. And this was on top of me listening to just whatever I wanted to listen to be fair. There's definitely different things I liked even back then. Yeah, listened to a lot of like Skrillex, for example. What was the other one? Also just like random one-off tracks like Code Monkey. Because I was playing on a radio station. I was online, I used to listen to that quite a bit. That's also how I first heard of Scatman John. So yeah, very interesting stuff there. Again, it's such a variety of music, and I was always listening to that. Oh, they played Justin Timberlake, I just remembered that. God, what a sad person he turned out to be. I'm trying to think who else. Also, there's like Lady Gaga and stuff. Also, the other ones like Shakira. What was that other one that covered or had Shakira featuring? Can't remember. Yeah, it's just a lot of music. Also, Blue. That's also where I heard Blue, the same radio station. I really need to listen to Blue. Not a boy band person, but something about Blue just rubs me the right way. Wait, what? That reminds me of Genie at the Bottom. That's one of my favourite pop tracks. One of my favourite tracks as a kid for some reason was Believe by Cher. No idea why. But that was alongside tracks like Shania Twain's I Feel Like a Woman. What's that other one by the sort of country singer woman? All I want to do is have some fun. I can't remember who did that. But here's so many different tracks. Jesus Christ. Also, didn't really play any Beatles or anything. The only place I ever heard Beatles actually growing up was probably The Simpsons. And that's probably the only money can't buy me laugh. So I was using a clip, one of the parts in it. There's definitely something else, but I can't remember what it was. Yeah, fascinating times though. Also grew up on as a fun side note, grew up on a bit of VHS, Tom and Jerry, Trapdoor. It's just so many nostalgic things there. It's important never to forget the physical media. Also had CDs of stuff, but they're less common for some reason. I think it's just mainly what obviously my parents had. And this is as things are going into fashion as well for them, I reckon. So that's why they've ended up having a lot of this stuff. I wouldn't call it crap, but it's actually stuff. Also remember like Wacky Races briefly. I barely watched it. There's other things I preferred. So many like nostalgic things there, nostalgic music too. For sure. 2010s what? 2010s were probably one of the weirdest of all the eras of music. But yeah, anyway, I think I might end the episode here. Didn't realise how long this is going on for. I think it might be worth sort of doing that, ending the episode there, and moving on. Yeah, moving on, I mean saying goodbye. A bit happier now, but that's because I've probably had some decent food. I got a takeaway last night, the rest of the day I'm fucking stuffed. How crazy, because this place didn't used to do it, but now they do. For some reason. It's actually really spicy, I can't have it again. It really makes my throat burn. It's also made me feel a bit sick as well, I don't know what the fuck is going on with that. I've also had the mint yogurt thing that they provide for free for some reason. Because I know nobody else is going to have it. It just seems like a waste. I hate consuming shit like that. But I don't think it'll last, obviously in the fridge, so I don't want to risk it. So I just had it anyway. It's actually okay. If it had dairy, it wasn't even anything special. And I will be honest about that, I've tried mozzarella and it was shit. But that was obviously by accident. I've tried other things as well. I've even tried meat before by accident, and again, nothing special. I don't know why, but my taste seemed to change after obviously having been plant-based for so long. It just never tastes any good now, because you have a flavour town at your disposal. Obviously, if you're following the correct foods like meat alternatives and specific junk foods, I would say. It obviously depends, but that seems to have lifted my mood, and also I've gotten past some of the stupid shit with this stuff, so I have to do that because I've had so many false alarms today. Ugh. That's a strong one. That's Joffrey's, I think. No. Well, there might be. Ugh. Yeah, I did a workout today as well, did some exercise, and also I've had lack of sleep, which is also interesting. I did snap at my housemate. He complains about me not fucking taking out the bins, but I can't, because he takes them out before me. It's like, I don't know if he's like treating it like a race or what, but my god, it's fucking pathetic. I've already complained about it. I'm hoping that the support system will do something about him, because it's just fucking ridiculous. Like, I can't have this all the time, and neither can my other housemate. We both struggle with the same thing with him. And the best that the support can do is like say sorry. It's just, what? Are you fucking kidding me? He also doesn't take it out properly. There's a separate fucking bin for the recycle bin that you just take out with the sort of lift thing, the like handle, and you just chuck it outside with all the recycling into the recycling bin. Saves using a bag. It's also easy to carry. I don't understand it. It's just so fucking weird, this place. I guess I could give some progress updates before I obviously borrow off for other topics. Audio interface still in the works. I'm trying to figure out how to use voice meter and also reroute it so that I can use it for Rocksmith, because this is going to be one of the big challenges. Because I plan on playing Rocksmith, I am a bit worried about sort of latency issues, so I'm not 100% sure exactly what's going to go on there, because it just won't pick up the audio. Yeah, I don't know what to do about it, other than the Wasabi option, which does work reliably-ish, but weird issues, like a bit of an audio issue of the playing and latency. Latency is the worst part. It's like above 100 milliseconds, I think. It's absolutely ridiculous. Meanwhile, the actual input, when you actually use the audio interface, is like 0 milliseconds. It's crazy. I've never known anything so responsive. Even my mouse isn't that responsive, which is bizarre because it should be. It's USB-C powered. What else? Music cover is still going along. I'm working on the project for the other things. The original is on a hiatus, obviously, because I'm working on the original, and I probably should test that first before I start doing the voice meter shit again. I think I'm going to do that tomorrow. Likely, I don't know. And also searching for new noise isolation. How headphones, that's loud. Another thing with voice meter is it sets up random fucking things that you don't even know are there. Which, where are we going? Reading. New Solani station again. So yeah, the artwork is coming along, it's doing its thing. I wouldn't say the artwork is like anything special at the moment, it's still just in its early phase, I think. It's just being a challenge to make it quick. That's one of the biggest challenges I keep facing. And I think at a certain point I need to, after this at least, look into Blender 3D, try and see if there's a quicker way, because I can't keep doing this. I could do the water and stuff, I could do clouds easily, but buildings, land, it's all a bit of a struggle. I can't do it that in perspective. Also, to be honest, the clouds I can't even do in perspective. I do try. Even these ones kind of have issues, which I'm not even 100% sure about. So again, figuring things out. Also getting through music a bit. Almost finished with the US Ghosts. There'll be a review of that soon. It's definitely interesting. I'll share my thoughts at the time. It's definitely things I like and hate about it. That goes without saying. So I need to go to my station. Anyway, I better move on. So thanks for listening.